Chapter 43:04. Lin Xian glanced at Yushurtia. He knew that she was confused, so he sent her a voice transmission. Don't worry, that thing isn't so easy to obtain. Let's test its power first. Yushurtia was stunned. She looked at the yin-yang fruit in the distance. Was that thing still dangerous? She really couldn't tell. The other late-stage holy venerates also smiled when they saw Lin Xian leave. Among them, the Thunder God City's people turned into lightning and flew over. Damn it! How dare you? The Limitless Sex elder roared, wanting to stop him. However, the lightning was too fast. He was still a step too late. The middle-aged man from the Thunder God City came to the front. He looked at the yin-yang fruit in front of him, and a smile appeared on his face. Everyone, I won't be polite then. After saying that, he charged at the yin-yang fruit. Behind him, the late-stage holy venerates roared. They unleashed terrifying divine abilities to stop him, but it was already too late. That was because the lightning palm had enveloped the yin-yang fruit. Great, it's mine. The Thunder God expert's lips curled into a smile. However, in the next moment, his expression became incomparably ugly. He discovered that a black law had entered his body and instantly taken away his life force. As for his arm, it rapidly shriveled up. No, he frantically retreated. However, in an instant he turned into white bones and no longer existed. The people behind him, who were still roaring furiously, were all stunned. Their faces were filled with horror. What was going on? A late-stage holy venerate had been killed just like that. They felt a wave of terror. Yushurtia's pupils constricted. How could this be? Only Lin Xian's eyes flashed. It seemed that it was true. The yin-yang law was extremely terrifying. It wasn't something that just anyone could contend against. Seeing Lin Xian's calm expression, Yushurtia sucked in a cold breath. It seemed that Lin Xian had already known. Furthermore, the experiment he had mentioned should be this matter, right? At this moment, the experts behind him also looked at Lin Xian. Brat, you dare to set us up? The 10,000 Fiend City expert clenched his teeth and roared. The Limitless Sex elder had an icy expression. Lin Xian said, "Why would he say that? It was you who wanted to drive me away and take the yin-yang fruit. From the beginning to the end, I didn't say anything. Now you're saying that I'm framing you. Don't you think it's a little ridiculous? Damn it." The expert from the Demon City let out a furious roar as his body suddenly enlarged, as if he had transformed into a peerless beast. It seemed like he wanted to make a move. However, at this moment, an even more terrifying aura spread out from the surroundings. From the looks of it, the people in the distance had also rushed over. When they arrived, they also exclaimed in surprise. Was that the law of yin and yang? It seemed that this was a great opportunity. One of them was clad in green battle robes. He stood there like an ancient divine mountain, striking fear into the hearts of those who saw him. Shi Qingyu, many people exclaimed as they looked at him. Clearly, this was an extremely terrifying figure. Lin Xian looked at the other party and frowned as well. His eyes flashed with a cold light. This person gave him a dangerous feeling. After Shi Qingyu arrived, he looked as if he was looking down on the world. His gaze swept across the surrounding people without stopping. When he saw Lin Xian, his gaze paused slightly. However, it only lingered for a moment before he stopped paying attention. It was obvious that the other party had recognized Lin Xian, but he didn't seem to be paying too much attention to him. More and more people rushed over. They looked at the yin-yang fruit in front of them with shock. Discussions broke out one after another. At the same time, they also realized that there were many experts around, especially when they saw Shi Qingyu. They were all nervous. He was an extremely terrifying expert from the primordial grotto. At this moment, Shi Qingyu said indifferently, "I want the yin-yang spirit fruit in front of me. Do you have any objections?" Although his tone was asking, There was a domineering aura in his words. The surrounding people's pupils constricted when they heard this. Was this guy going to snatch it? However, they realized that no one dared to object directly, which was extremely shocking. At this moment, the sacred venerate from the Thousand Demon City smiled and said, "We naturally don't have any objections. However, the first person to arrive here seemed to be Lin Xian. He seemed to be determined to obtain the yin-yang fruit." Many people's eyelids twitched when they heard this. He was obviously looking for someone from the primordial grotto to deal with Lin Xian. Sure enough, when Shirqingyu heard this, he also turned his head and looked at Lin Xian before saying, "You must be Lin Xian, right? Would you dare take it if I gave it to you?" Lin Xian also smiled. Why wouldn't he dare? He had originally cultivated the Taiji art and had grasped two powerful nomological laws. This spiritual fruit would be of great help to his Taiji art. How could he give it up? When they heard this, the surrounding people were stunned. Heavens, this was indeed the case. They knew that Lin Xian wouldn't give up so easily. It seemed that this was indeed the case. Even though he was facing the extremely powerful Shirqingyu, he was still calm and composed. He really didn't know what was good for him. The sacred venerate from the Thousand Demon City sneered. He had already achieved his goal. Next, Shirqingyu would definitely not let him off. Sure enough, Shirqingyu's face also darkened when he heard this. No one had ever dared to be so arrogant in front of him, let alone a young man. Sure enough, he was even more arrogant than the rumors said. However, treasures were only suitable for powerhouses. Did he have the right to obtain them? Did he have the right? You'll know once you try. Lin Xian's eyes also burst with a piercing cold light. At the same time, an extremely terrifying power surged out of his body. On the other side, Shirqingyu's power also erupted, causing the surrounding void to shatter continuously. The people around him quickly retreated, their faces full of shock. They knew that the two of them were about to exchange blows. Do you think this kid can withstand it? What kind of joke was this? How could he possibly contend against Shirqingyu? That's right, I don't think he can even take one move. Many people around them sneered. The people from the immemorial grotto had special bloodlines. Their physiques were abnormally strong, and their power was even more shocking. Sure enough, Shirqingyu raised his hand and slowly clenched it into a fist. Mysterious runes appeared on the fist, and a terrifying power emanated from it. Boom. Then he threw a punch forward. The surrounding void shattered continuously. It seemed like a casual punch. However, even a late-stage holy venerate would not be able to withstand it. What a strong power! The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. The way they saw it, Lin Xian was definitely going to die this time around. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. A piercing cold light burst out of his eyes. He was indeed very strong. No wonder his opponent had the right to be arrogant. However, so what? Lin Xian also extended his hand and continuously formed hand seals. The man-ruler seal was displayed by him. Like a supreme deity, it slammed forward fiercely. Chapter 43:05. Boom. The two attacks collided in the sky. It was as if hundreds of thousands of claps of thunder rang out in the sky. The entire world shook violently. Countless large cracks appeared in the sky. Violent winds and torrential rain swept across the land. The two black figures also retreated quickly. How was it? Everyone looked forward. They wanted to know if Lin Xian had blocked the attack. They guessed that he should have been beaten into a bloody mist. However, when they saw that Lin Xian had only retracted his palm and was still standing there, many people's eyes almost fell out of their sockets. God, he really blocked it. Between the heavens and the earth, terrifying energy constantly surged, and the surrounding people were all stunned. Their minds were a little blank. That was because they could not believe what they had just seen. They knew how powerful Shirqingyu was. Although the attack just now was just a casual attack, the power it contained was not weak at all. Instead, it was extremely powerful. However, Lin Xian was able to block such a terrifying attack with ease. It seemed that he was not injured at all. That was really surprising. Just how strong had this brat become? The faces of the Demon City's experts also darkened. Damn it, this kid was really too terrifying. They felt that he was not weaker than them. Lin Xian looked in front of him. Shi Qingyu's face was a little pale. Then he smiled and said, "Your strength is only SOSO. You were so arrogant before. I thought that a sage king had come. Now that I've seen it, it's really disappointing. With just this little bit of power, you want to suppress all the heroes. I'm afraid you won't be able to do so." The surrounding people were stunned. Was this guy challenging Shi Qingyu? Sure enough, Shi Qingyu's eyes also burst with a cold, murderous intent. Was he looking down on him? The aura on his body kept exploding. However, Lin Xian retracted his gaze. He did not care at all. Instead, he looked at the yin-yang fruit in the distance. It seemed that it was about time to make a move. Others were afraid of the power of yin-yang, but he was not. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palm and directly shot out a Taiji diagram. It flew towards the yin-yang fruit. This guy actually made a move. Countless exclamations were heard. Their eyes were red. Shi Qingyu roared, "How dare you?" The other party was too reckless. Did they really think that his strength was only that much? You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Today, I will let you know my true strength. As soon as he finished speaking, an extremely terrifying power erupted, causing the ground to shatter. Countless canyons appeared. Shi Qingyu stretched out a huge hand that covered the sky and charged towards the Taiji diagram in front of him, wanting to grab it. However, at this moment, a sword chi slashed down from the sky like a bolt of lightning, blocking the huge hand that covered the sky. It was Lin Xian. Lin Xian had only used the Taiji diagram to collect the yin and yang fruits, but he had blocked it. This was the green jade. What? Are you not convinced? Let's make it one stop then. Lin Xian's aura continued to erupt. He wasn't worried about the people around him at all, because the eruption of the laws of yin and yang in the distance was extremely terrifying. Even a late-stage holy venerate would not dare to get close. Once they did, their life force would be instantly snatched away. In such a situation, using the Taiji diagram was the most suitable. No one can take away the treasures I want. You want to take the treasures from me? How laughable. At this moment, Shi Qingyu's expression became extremely cold. He was like an angry war god, his power and killing intent sweeping in all directions. Then he punched out again. This time, he must kill the other party. Do you really think that only your strength and physique are strong? Lin Xian also snorted coldly, his 9-yang divine body erupting continuously. Then, a golden palm of light slapped out. It was like a golden mountain, causing the entire world to dim. Even Shi Qingyu's pupils shrank. In the next moment, the two attacks collided again, and violent vibrations swept in all directions. Shi Qingyu felt a huge force coming from his arm, wanting to tear his body apart. This physique shocked him too much. He was from the immemorial grotto and had a strong bloodline. The immemorial grotto cultivated the Holy Spirit's blood, which was incomparable. However, he did not expect the other party's physique to be so strong as well. How could he have known that Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body was also one of the strongest physiques in the starry heavens? Furthermore, not long ago, Xiao Chen's 9-yang divine body had been tempered by the terrifying lightning sea and merged with the protective light. Now it was even more horrifying. Hence, even when facing Shi Qingyu's physique, Xiao Chen was not at a disadvantage. No wonder you dare to be arrogant before me. It looks like you also have a powerful body tempering technique. However, how can you compare to my Holy Spirit body? Today, I'll let you know what the gap is. After saying that, an extremely terrifying aura surged out of Shi Qingyu's body again. Then he formed hand seals. Together, they formed an extremely mysterious, illusory figure that charged straight for Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not dodge. He executed the man-ruler seal with his right hand and attacked continuously, like a heavenly king sweeping through the 9 heavens. As for his left hand, it turned into a golden sun that swept out in all directions. At this moment, the might of his divine body was completely unleashed. This attack was like 2 war gods clashing. The terrifying aura caused the scalps of the surrounding people to turn numb. This was especially so for the late stage holy venerates. They were all stunned. This Lin Xian's physique was actually not weaker than theirs. This brat was too strong. His strength was already equivalent to a late-stage holy venerate. If they did not have powerful means, it would be very difficult to suppress him. The surrounding experts of the holy cities found this inconceivable. This was especially so for the people of Thunder God City, Myriad Fiend City, and Myriad Sword Pavilion. This was because in the second stage, Xiao Chun was only a peak small saint. However, in the third stage, his strength soared, becoming a mid-stage holy venerate. One had to know that this was a cultivation realm that might not be reached even after several thousand years. Xiao Chun managed to accomplish this in such a short period of time. This was simply heaven-defying. There were also some people who had cold expressions. They shifted their gazes away from the battle and looked at the light in the distance. They wanted to snatch the yin-yang spirit fruit. After all, now was the best time. Indeed, a holy venerate from the great desolate mansion instantly charged out. He created a desolate valley, wanting to envelop the yin-yang spirit fruit. Taiji revolved, and a terrifying Taiji sword light burst out. The yin-yang spirit fruit also shot out. The laws of yin-yang were rarely seen in the 9 heavens. One of the man's arms withered in an instant, and he immediately fled. He felt that 1/3 of the vitality in his body had disappeared. This was too terrifying. This yin-yang spirit fruit was really too strong. Probably only a true Sage King weapon could subdue it. The others were also shocked. However, they could not do anything about it. Chapter 4306. They were extremely unwilling to give up, because the aura on the Taiji diagram was very similar to the yin-yang fruit. It was not affected much. At this moment, it was fighting with the laws of yin and yang. It seemed that it would not be long before it completely enveloped them. When that time came, they would have no hope at all. Therefore, their eyes were red. They looked into the distance, hoping that Shi Qingyu could defeat Lin Xian. In this way, the Taiji diagram would not attack anymore. Shi Qingyu's face became extremely ugly. To be honest, he thought that he could kill Lin Xian with one move. He did not expect Lin Xian to block it. Now that he had used all his strength, he thought that he could destroy Lin Xian within 10 moves. However, he could not suppress Lin Xian after hundreds of moves, let alone kill him. Thinking of this, he roared, "Die!" With a roar, a terrifying murderous aura erupted. Sacred, heavenly divine palm. With a roar, a palm slapped out, carrying thousands of laws as if it was going to break through the sky. This terrifying power directly attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt the power of this palm and was shocked. He knew that this was a peerless divine skill because his divine body was shaking violently. It was as if it was going to shatter his body. Buzz. Lin Xian roared, and the dragon in his body roared. Then he formed the man-ruler seal with both hands and attacked together. It was as if the world was splitting apart. This power had actually become even stronger. Boom, boom, boom. The man-ruler seal had the aura of the dragon, and it fell directly on the sacred heavenly divine palm. The two collided, and cracks appeared on the sacred heavenly divine palm, as if it was about to shatter. Shi Qingyu was even more shocked. His face was full of shock and disbelief. How could Lin Xian be stronger than him? How could it be? He was one level higher than Lin Xian, and he had already used his ultimate skill. The surrounding people were stunned as well. Lin Xian's strength was truly shocking. His opponent's attack power was actually able to increase. At the same time, the Taiji diagram in the distance slowly descended, and it was very close to the yin-yang fruit. It would probably take less than half an hour to completely take away the yin-yang fruit. Naturally, Shi Qingyu also saw this scene, and his face was extremely cold. With a roar, he charged over again. Another world-shaking battle ensued. However, it didn't take long for Shi Qingyu to be sent flying backward. He even coughed up a mouthful of blood, and several cracks appeared on his body. "Damn it, you actually managed to injure me." Shi Qingyu's expression became incomparably ugly. After all, not many late-stage holy venerates could compete with Xiao Chen's physical body, but now someone whose cultivation was lower than his had actually surpassed him in terms of physique and strength. In fact, he had even injured him. The people around him were also terrified. The Saint Venerable from the Demon City felt his scalp go numb. If he was the one who attacked Lin Xian back then, what would have happened to him? The old man from the Limitless sect was also terrified. Previously, he had raised his cultivation and said that he would let the other party go. From the looks of it now, did the other party even need him to let him go? Lin Xian stood in the void. The more he fought, the braver he became. The golden flames on his body burned fiercely, and a powerful force was released. This caused the scalps of the surrounding people to go numb. At this moment, he attacked again. The man-ruler's seal slammed over, and it carried a terrifying power of the law. This time, Lin Xian not only used the power of the divine body, but also the power of the law. The golden flames covered the sky, and it was as if thousands of suns had appeared at the same time. The pressure brought about by it made even Shi Qingyu's expression become incomparably ugly. For the first time, he felt fear. However, he still roared and charged out, using the Saint's spirit bloodline to the extreme. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. In the blink of an eye, another 100 moves had passed. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly used an unparalleled secret technique. His strength increased exponentially, and he directly smashed his opponent's arm with a palm. Half of his body was shattered, and a bloody mist filled the air. Everyone was stunned. Lin Xian stood in the sky, and his voice was cold. Saint's spirit bloodline? There was nothing special about it. His words were filled with disdain. Shi Qingyu had gone completely crazy. He roared, and his shattered body reassembled, and he charged over again. He was not convinced, and he must kill his opponent. However, Lin Xian's power grew stronger and stronger, and in the end, he condensed the 10 extinction swords again. The sword energy swept out, and with one strike, it split Shi Qingyu apart. The 10 extinction swords contained 10 powerful laws. Under the fusion of the dragon soul's aura, the sword slashed out, and the sky fell, and the earth cracked. Although Shi Qingyu was not killed this time, he was seriously injured, and his aura dropped drastically. Damn it, he quickly retreated in fear. Was Shi Qingyu going to retreat? It was too unbelievable. The primordial grotto was such a powerful expert, but now he was going to retreat. Lin Xian would not let him escape. With a wave of his hand, the 10 extinction swords were released. The 10 laws formed a divine sword that moved between heaven and earth, directly sealing the entire world. At the same time, lightning and storms appeared under his feet, causing his power to reach the extreme. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of his opponent. Boom! The man-ruler seal kept striking out. This kind of peerless ability required too much power. Ordinary saints could not use it more than a few times, but Lin Xian's divine body seemed to have endless power. This kind of peerless ability could be used continuously. Boom, boom, boom. Heaven and earth shattered. Shi Qingyu's body was broken once again. He was torn apart, and he retreated. Lin Xian looked disdainfully at the surroundings, and he turned his head to look into the distance. At this moment, the Taiji diagram had completely enveloped the yin-yang fruit. It seemed that it was done. With a wave of his hand, the Taiji diagram rotated and quickly flew over with the yin-yang fruit. The surrounding people exclaimed. It seemed that such a treasure was going to fall into the hands of the other party. Damn it, Shi Qingyu roared. However, he had just condensed his body and his aura was very weak and his face was pale. Moreover, he did not have the courage to fight the other party now. However, he was really unwilling to watch the treasure be obtained by the other party. However, halfway through the Taiji diagram, there was a change. A spatial crack appeared, enveloping the Taiji diagram, and then it disappeared. What was going on? Did someone make a move? Everyone looked at Shi Qingyu, thinking that it was Shi Qingyu who did it. Shi Qingyu was probably the only one who possessed such strength in this place. Shi Qingyu's face was indeed pale. Damn it, it wasn't me, he quickly explained. Lin Xian ignored him, and an extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. Shi Qingyu was powerful, but he was still no match for him. Moreover, that was obviously the law of space just now. Only a space-type powerhouse could do this. Therefore, he thought of someone. In the next moment, he opened his heavenly secret divine eyes, and an extremely terrifying gaze from the sky cast down. It enveloped all directions. Lin Xian flew out like a bolt of lightning. The 10 ultimate sword formations surrounded him, shattering everything. That was the law of space just now, so it should be a space-type powerhouse who made a move. Let's go and take a look. The surrounding powerhouses naturally also noticed this scene. One by one, they quickly followed. They really couldn't think of anyone who dared to be so bold. Lin Xian's speed was very fast. He even used the void escape, because he realized that the other party's spatial magic was very terrifying. In the end, he directly used the dragon-shaped sword Qi and slashed out. The entire sky was split open and cracks spread. In the void, the Taiji diagram flew out. Lin Xian struck out a terrifying dragon-shaped sword shadow, completely shattering the space around the Taiji diagram. Then he said, "Get out here. You want to snatch the treasure from me? Impossible." Is that so? You're too confident. Do you think that you can compete with me just because you defeated a few late-stage holy venerables? In the void, a cold voice rang out, followed by the appearance of a figure. His figure was abnormally blurry, and it seemed that he had merged with the entire world. Gu Feng, it was indeed him. Those people in the distance also came nearby. They looked at the figure in front of them and cried out in surprise. They guessed that only the people of the Gu clan had such a terrifying spatial divine ability. Chapter 4307. Lin Xian frowned. To be honest, the person in front of him was very dangerous. After all, he came from an emperor clan and cultivated the great emperor's ancient scripture. Moreover, he had grasped the spatial laws. Although the two of them didn't have any conflicts before, Lin Xian knew that he would be a powerful enemy on his path to becoming a great emperor in the future. The other party had the same idea. Therefore, the other party would make a move whenever he had the chance. Now, the other party had taken the initiative to attack him. Very well. Let me see how powerful the inheritance of the Void Emperor is. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a cold aura. Facing the other party, he didn't dare to be careless. This person was even more terrifying than Shi Qingyu from before. Lin Xian's body was covered in golden flames. The terrifying sword Qi pierced through the 8 desolates, causing the surrounding people to not dare to approach. Many spatial whirlpools appeared in the void around Gu Feng and directly absorbed the aura. Then The aura was sucked into the universe. He laughed. The aura is very strong, but it's not enough to threaten me. I don't want to attack you now. So, hand over the yin-yang fruit obediently. I can spare your life. Otherwise, I'll send you on your way in advance. Is that so? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the man-ruler seal with his palm. His other hand held the 10 extinction swords. The 2 great divine abilities had the aura of the great dragon sword soul. He knew that to deal with the other party's spatial laws, he had to use the indestructible sword. What? You want to attack me? Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Gu Feng's eyes flashed with a cold light. In the next moment, the spatial laws on his body instantly erupted, forming a spatial storm. The entire space shook violently. Everyone felt that the whole world had frozen. What a terrifying spatial absolute art. The void split the sky. A low voice sounded. Then, the surrounding sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Terrifying cracks instantly covered Lin Xian's surroundings. It wanted to banish his body to a different space. This divine ability was really terrifying. It used the power of the universe's spatial laws. Sure enough, Lin Xian felt a huge power even though he had the 9 yang divine body. This was equivalent to several worlds acting on his body, making him unable to move. Not only that, but there were even cracks on his body. It was so scary. The surrounding people were all stupefied. Was this the absolute art of space? It was really too terrifying. Someone shook his head and said, ordinary spatial divine abilities were not so terrifying. This Gu Feng should be from the Gu clan. If that was really the case, then they were from the Emperor clan. It was someone from the 9 Li dynasty who said that. As soon as he said this, the surrounding people were even more shocked. Were they from the great Emperor clan? No wonder they were so strong. Not good. Yu Shijie was extremely nervous. He was really worried about Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face was incomparably cold. In the next moment, he coldly snorted, and the dragon-shaped sword flew out and slashed in all directions, shattering all of the spatial cracks. Boom! He roared into the sky and punched out in all directions, shattering the surrounding void. Nothing in the sky was intact. This scene really shocked everyone. Lin Xian's body recovered, and he charged over. Boom! With a punch, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. However, the corners of Gu Feng's mouth curled up into a cold smile. It's useless. You can't hurt me at all. Sure enough, his body became dim, and he directly passed through this punch. This punch blasted into the void, causing the front to turn into chaos. As for Gu Feng's body, he appeared once again. Buzz. He could appear in the universe at any time. What can you use to kill me? Gu Feng calmly dodged the next attack. He didn't even leave his original position. Just like that, he dodged everything. The surrounding people were stunned. His spatial divine ability was already in an invincible position. Perhaps only a true Sage King could kill him. They couldn't be careless. Lin Wuyi had a Sage King weapon. Once that weapon was used, it would also be a threat to Gu Feng. Someone said, "Do you think Gu Feng doesn't have it?" If he was really from the Great Emperor clan, he would probably have more trump cards. Discussions could be heard. Lin Xian's face was cold, as expected of the Emperor clan's inheritance. However, do you think I can't restrain you? He used his divine ability with all his strength. Then he grasped the 10 absolute swords. At the same time, he used the power of the great dragon sword soul to the extreme. Sword chi slashed out one after another. These sword chi were incomparably sharp. It was like countless dragons roaring in the sky. Then they quickly charged over. Gu Feng was originally disdainful, but this time his pupils shrank. This was because he realized that even though his body had dimmed and he had entered the spatial dimension, this sword strike was still able to threaten him. Buzz. His body suddenly disappeared and appeared in another space. He was teleported. A crack appeared on his hand. and blood flowed out from it. What's going on? Is Gu Feng injured? When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. He, who had the spatial divine ability, could be injured. Then, how did Lin Wuyi do it? Despicable brat. Gu Feng's face became incomparably ugly. He stared at the sword shadow. Lin Xian laughed. Why? Don't you have the spatial inheritance? Don't you have to dodge? Why did you dodge just now? Humph. Gu Feng didn't answer. The wound on his body quickly healed. Then he charged out again. Next, Gu Feng's attacks came and went like a ghost. He kept teleporting, so no one knew where he would appear in the next moment. Streaks of space mystic powers came charging over at high speed. Void finger. Endless spatial laws condensed, forming a spatial finger. It directly attacked Lin Xian. As soon as it appeared, it was already in front of Lin Xian. Its target was Lin Xian's forehead. Lin Xian raised his hand and attacked with the Man-Ruler seal. At the same time, he used the void escape to dodge in an instant. At the place where he originally appeared, a spatial stone tablet suddenly appeared and suppressed him. Fortunately, it only injured an afterimage of him. Lin Xian kept waving. Dragon-shaped sword qi slashed in all directions. Gradually, the sword qi shattered the space around them. There was no longer any space for Gu Feng to stand. Gu Feng could only attack from afar. In this way, it would be very difficult for him to hurt Lin Xian. Is this the power you were so confident about? Spatial divine arts are very strong, but it doesn't seem to have much effect on me. Lin Xian's voice was cold. Indeed, if it was anyone else, even if it was a late-stage expert of the older generation, they would have been killed long ago. But he was different. He had too many successions and trump cards in his possession. Heavenly secret divine eyes could see everything clearly. Even if the opponent was hiding in the void, he could still capture it. And the great dragon sword soul could cut through the void. It had an indestructible power. These two things were enough to contend with the other party's spatial laws. They could even suppress or injure the other party. Chapter 43:08. Gu Feng's face was incomparably pale. He really didn't expect that the other party could actually restrain his spatial ability. Once he used his spatial ability, he was invincible. Who could contend against him? However, he had met his match today. Kid, very good. I'll remember you. Gu Feng snorted coldly as his body gradually disappeared into the void. Lin Xian's expression was cold. The dragon sword spirit once again erupted, wanting to attack. It was such a good opportunity. He wanted to kill the other party. However, at this moment, an extremely terrifying aura came from afar, causing everyone to turn their heads. It seemed that something incredible had appeared again. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian didn't attack again. I'll spare you this time. He withdrew the dragon sword spirit and then waved his hand, summoning the Taiji diagram back. There was a black and white fruit in the Taiji diagram. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. It seemed that he had to find an opportunity to absorb the power of this fruit. This way, his Taiji fist would be even stronger. Thinking of this, he wasn't in a hurry to go immediately. Instead, he flew in the opposite direction. He wanted to absorb this yin-yang fruit first. On the other side, after Gu Feng left, his expression was incomparably cold. At this moment, a figure walked out and said, "Even you don't have the confidence to kill him?" This figure was Wan Jianni. He had also watched the previous battle. At this moment, his expression was incomparably heavy. Gu Feng snorted coldly. This kid wasn't simple. His physique was the 9-yang divine body, and his eye technique was powerful. It was obvious that he also had a top-grade bloodline. What was more troublesome was that he was the successor of the dragon sword spirit. He had the dragon sword spirit that could sweep through everything and had the inextinguishable sword intent. Dragon sword spirit? Wan Jenny was shocked. This was a legendary item, and the other party actually had it. Moreover, it seemed that Gufeng was very familiar with it. It seemed that the two of them really came from the same world. Gufeng took a deep breath and said coldly, "Don't worry. Although he has many trump cards, I have many. This was just a probing attack. I didn't use my full strength. Otherwise, if I used my trump card, he wouldn't be able to block it. Moreover, I'll be able to cultivate the Greater Void transference to the 3rd level soon. At that time, killing him will be as easy as flipping my hand." At this point, a cold killing intent erupted from Gu Feng's eyes. But no matter what, he had suffered a loss this time. He had lost to the other party. On the other side, Lin Xian left the crowd and entered the Great Sage Tower once again. He asked Yu Shiqie to guard him and keep an eye on the situation outside. He then took out the yin-yang fruit and placed it in front of him. After sending out the laws, Lin Xian executed the Taiji art and quickly absorbed the energy inside. 5 days later, Yu Shiqie walked in and said that the situation ahead had changed. Lin Xian opened his eyes. The absorption over the past 5 days had allowed his Tai Chi art to improve once again. The yin-yang fruit was really too powerful. It had existed for tens of thousands of years. In just a few short days, he was able to make Lin Xian's strength change again, which made him really happy. With a wave of his hand, he carefully put the yin-yang fruit away. Then he said, "Let's go out and take a look." It turned out that an extremely terrifying palace had appeared in the Antiquity City. Quite a few people had already entered. And there were still some who were pacing back and forth outside because that aura was simply too shocking. Chao Tianxing led his men in, and so did Linghu Chueshua. In fact, Murong Qingsheng also led the people from the Kunlun Pavilion in. At this moment, Gu Feng arrived. He did not come alone, but brought a few experts from the Gu family and even the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. When the crowd saw that Wan Jinni had also appeared, they immediately exclaimed. It seemed that he had recovered. A group of people walked in. 2 streams of light streaked across the sky, and Lin Xian and Yu Shiqie appeared. They looked at the scene ahead, and their eyes were shining. It was time for that guy to appear. Lin Xian realized that there were people from the 1,000 Demon City around, so he asked the 9-headed Kailan to leave and meet up with the people from the 1,000 Demon City. As for him, he brought Yu Shiqie and quickly entered the palace in front of them. The moment they entered, Lin Xian and Yu Shiqie felt a huge force pressing down on them. It was too terrifying. This palace was really mysterious. Yu Shiqie used the law of water, which rushed out and surrounded them, resisting the terrifying pressure. In the next moment, they walked in, and they realized that the inside of the palace was also a space of its own. It was much more spacious than they had imagined. It was simply a small world. In front of them, there was an empty palace, and there was a stone tablet erected. It stood tall, and there were countless great paths carved on it. It was even intertwined with the Tao patterns on the ground. It was extremely mysterious. Around the palace, there were 4 statue guardians. It seemed that there were treasures. Some of them could not help but rush over, wanting to break through. However, the statue seemed to come alive. An extremely terrifying aura of the Great Path rushed out, and it directly sent one of them flying. That was a mid-stage Saint Venerable expert, and he instantly turned into a mist of blood. He frantically retreated, his face full of fear. The others were also stunned, and they looked at the 4 statues in shock. Originally, they wanted to attack forcefully, but now they hesitated. It seemed that this place was very terrifying, and there was a huge formation seal. They could not easily attack. Otherwise, there would be a terrifying bombardment. Lin Xian naturally came in as well. His eyes were shining as he looked around. Was there another strange formation? The others were also discussing with each other, preparing to break through the formation. At this moment, Gu Feng stood out and said, "Everyone, do you know what kind of formation can be used to break this formation? I know a little." Once he said that, everyone began to talk. Now, some people knew that Gu Feng should be from a great emperor family, and he was very experienced and knowledgeable. So someone smiled and said, "Young Master Gu, if you have any ideas, just tell us. If you need us, just tell us. We will definitely help young Master Gu." Gu Feng's lips curled into a smile. He said, "According to the information I read in the ancient books of my family, such a formation needs the power of yin and yang to break it." The power of yin and yang? The surrounding saints all frowned. This kind of power was not easy to find. It was very rare. This kind of power was indeed rare, but there was one person present who had it. Moreover, this person had both yin and yang, two kinds of power. If they used his blood to break the formation, that would be the best thing to do. As he said that, he pointed at Lin Xian. The surrounding people also looked over. This kid had the yin-yang diagram, and he had obtained the yin-yang fruit before. He definitely had the power of yin and yang. The people of High Rock Cave instantly walked out and said coldly, "Kid, kneel on the ground obediently and accept your death. I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, I'll let you know what despair is." The people of Akron Hall also came. There were only 4 of them left. One of them had already fallen in the primordial battlefield. At this moment, the 4 of them were also emitting terrifying killing intent. They stared coldly at Lin Xian. Chapter 43:09. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect it to be targeted at Lin Xian again. Moreover, it was Gu Feng who took the lead. Gu Feng retreated after announcing the news. It seemed like he didn't plan to make a move. Instead, he wanted to borrow the strength of the other holy cities to kill Lin Xian. "That's right. I agree." Wan Jianyi walked out. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He represented the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. The great desolate mansion, Thunder God City, and Demon City also walked out. "We have no objections. Let's work together." The surrounding people frowned. Lin Xian's strength wasn't ordinary. Even if everyone worked together, they could kill him. However, Peerless City was behind him. Sure enough, at this moment, a cold shout was heard. "Who dares to move?" Ling Hu Chueshue and Fu Hongya walked over with the people of Peerless City. They came to Lin Xian's side. "Whoever dares to touch junior brother Lin will be an enemy of Peerless City." The peerless sacred sword swept across the sky in all directions. Everyone was shocked. "Ling Hu Chueshue and the others are here? Looks like the situation has changed." Sure enough, the expressions of the people from the other holy cities changed. In the primordial grotto, Shi Qingyu sneered. "Just a force with a Saint King weapon. How dare you be arrogant in front of us?" He snorted. The stone pagoda floated above their heads, releasing an extremely terrifying aura. At the same time, the underworld gourd and Thunder God's hammer appeared. Several Saint King weapons were taken out together, suppressing the peerless sacred sword. Lin Xian glanced at him. "You're just a loser. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? Get over here. I don't need a Saint King weapon. I'll destroy your soul in 3 moves." Lin Xian looked at Shi Qingyu with disdain. Damn it. Shi Qingyu's face was cold. He had indeed lost to Lin Xian, but that was after thousands of moves. Now that Lin Xian said he could destroy his soul in 3 moves, it was obviously a slap to his face. He snorted. "Kid, I admit that I lost to you. But so what? We're competing now. No matter how strong you are, can you reverse the situation? That's impossible here. Who said we're weak?" Murong Qingcheng walked over with people from Kunlun Pavilion and Jade Lake. Help was here. Everyone was shocked. Regarding Peerless City's allies, they had already seen them in the 2nd stage. Could it be that the 2 sides were going to have another decisive battle now? Sure enough, another group of people walked towards them. For example, Li Hongxiu led the people from the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, and Guan Songhai led the people from the Azure Sea Pavilion. There was also the joyous Union Palace and the Heaven Devil race. These people all came to Lin Xian's side. For a moment, a powerful aura suppressed the entire area as it contended with the people from Acheron Hall. His strength was not weak at all. The people from the Acheron Hall had cold expressions. Shi Qingyu said coldly from the immemorial grotto. It seemed that there would be a duel soon. Since that's the case, let's do it. Terrifying light burst out from their eyes, and the surrounding people quickly retreated. The two sacred cities attacked. They all had saint-level weapons which could definitely break through everything. They began to worry about the heaven and earth. Kill. The people of the Acheron Hall were the first to roar. They activated the Acheron Gourd with all their might and charged over. The terrifying yellow springs surged in all directions. In an instant, it completely enveloped the entire space. Everyone was worried that the mysterious palace would shatter in an instant. However, to their surprise, it actually withstood the terrifying aura. The palace became incomparably vast, as if it had turned into an ancient battlefield again. A surge of primordial power surged out. Buzz. The stone pagoda also waved, and a terrifying power burst out, shattering the world. The weapons of the two sacred kings attacked together. The energy made everyone feel despair. Retreat quickly. The sacred cities that did not participate in the battle quickly retreated. They knew that they had to wait for the outcome of the battle to be decided before the others could make a move. Sure enough, some people retreated far away. Some people even left the mysterious palace to watch the battle from afar. Linghu Chueshue and the others roared and attacked together with the unparalleled sacred sword. With one attack, the unparalleled sacred city turned into a sword chi that rampaged between heaven and earth. Countless voids were trembling nonstop. The unparalleled sacred sword was incomparably powerful, but it was instantly suppressed by the two sacred artifacts. However, at this time, Lin Xian also took out the Great Destruction Spear. Everyone attacked together again. With a boom, monstrous demonic chi surged and swept in all directions. The laws clashed in the sky. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. The surrounding people retreated one after another. Not good. Use your full strength. Some people roared. On the Demon City's side, they took out a black, heavy sword named Firmament Sword. When the sword slashed out, it was as if the sky was pressing down. The terrifying power was even more shocking. Kunlun Mountain, Murong Qingcheng, and the others attacked Kunlun Mountain to block it. At the same time, Thunder God City, Great Desolation Mansion, and Demon City also attacked together. On Lin Xian's side, Acacia Palace, Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, and Deep Sea Palace also counterattacked. The battle broke out in an instant, and it was incomparable. Buzz, the unparalleled sacred sword, turned into a piercingly cold divine sword and slashed down. This attack could instantly split a world in half. The two sides were evenly matched in the battle. However, at this time, the situation changed. A group of people suddenly attacked. In the void, an ancient mirror appeared. It unleashed a frightening amount of space power and shot towards Lin Xian and the others. Not good. Fu Hongya and the others felt the impact. The sudden attack made them feel pressured. Lin Xian summoned the Great Sage Pagoda to block it. With a boom, his arm went numb from the impact. Many people vomited blood. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with unparalleled killing intent. Damn it, it's Gu Feng. That's right, Gu Feng and the experts of the Gu family also took out a Sage King weapon. It was a void mirror. This was a replica of an extreme-grade weapon that had reached the level of a Sage King weapon. When it was used, it was extremely terrifying. Kid, you dare to kill so many experts of the Acheron Hall. Today is the day you die. The people of the Acheron Hall gritted their teeth. The people of the Great Desolation Mansion and Demon City also looked cold. They must capture the other party and let him know what despair was. A terrifying aura burst out again. Lin Xian and the others' faces were extremely ugly. The addition of the Gu family had put them in an extremely passive position. This was because they had to defend against spatial attacks at any time. Lin Xian shouted, and Morong Qingcheng led the people of the Kunlun Pavilion and charged forward. Trying to escape, thunder rumbled between heaven and earth. Thousands of lightning bolts fell and struck Kunlun Mountain, causing it to shake continuously. Morong Qingcheng and the others were blocked, and their faces became extremely pale. The people of the Demon City sneered and used the Thor's hammer. A cold voice sounded. No one is allowed to leave. Today, you will die without a doubt. Chapter 43:10. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you still want to escape at this stage? The people from the Great Desolate Mansion sneered. This time, they had finally joined forces with great difficulty. With so many Saint King weapons, they had unleashed all of them in order to completely get rid of these people. Do you think you can do it? You don't have the right to say that. Lin Xian snorted and quickly used the Great Destruction Spear with the people from the Sky Fiend race. A terrifying demonic aura burst out and shattered the world. It was as if the gods and ghosts were crying. This method was too terrifying. The faces of the people on the other side changed. They didn't expect Lin Xian's combat strength to increase. Damn it, let's attack together. The people on the other side roared crazily, and there was another terrifying explosion. This time, both sides kept retreating and their faces were pale. Some of them even vomited blood. Although they were top geniuses and experts, they were using the Sage King weapons after all. The power contained in the weapons was far beyond theirs. Even if they could only use a portion of the power, it wasn't something their bodies could withstand. Therefore, they were all injured. At this moment, Lin Xian roared and took out 2 storage rings. Countless spiritual fruits flew out from them. They were the ones he had collected previously. At this moment, he took out a portion of them and turned them into energy that surged into the great dragon sword soul. Then, he slashed out with his sword. These spiritual fruits were very old. They were at least 10,000 years old. Moreover, there were so many of them that it was absolutely shocking. Therefore, the great dragon sword soul roared and quickly recovered. Its power was no weaker than the Sage King weapons. Not good. Seeing this, Gu Feng's pupils shrank, and he didn't attack. He knew that this was the great dragon sword soul, an offensive sage technique. Therefore, he quickly took his people and left using the space mystique. The others also felt their scalps go numb. They roared crazily. However, the sword still split everything apart. The power of the Sage King weapons was torn apart. Then Lin Xian rushed out with his people. They rushed out of the encirclement and rushed towards one of the statues. Damn it, this guy still has a trump card. When the people from the primordial grotto saw this, their faces became extremely cold. Kill him! These people roared crazily. They could also tell that the other party had used a large amount of power to unleash his trump card. It was impossible for him to use such a method multiple times. He might not even be able to use it a second time. They all activated their bloodline power and activated their saint spirit bloodline, illuminating the world. The stone pagoda emitted a terrifying radiance as it continued to enlarge. Several peerless sword lights flew out from inside. The people around him kept vomiting blood. Morong Qingcheng roared, and a pagoda appeared in her hand. This was a replica of the desolate tower. At this moment, when he took it out, its power was equally terrifying. He blocked the other party's stone pagoda. Then the jade lake rushed out and covered the surroundings, healing the injuries of these people. Let's go! Li Hongxiu from the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion was holding a huge fan. She attacked and several of them were sent flying. Some of the late-stage, holy venerates were instantly killed. The two sides fought again, but Lin Xian and the others fought as they retreated, retreating towards the statue. Soon, Lin Xian arrived beside the stone statue. Formation of destruction. Lin Xian used a powerful formation that he had obtained previously. It was a formation that used formations to break formations. When he used it, it was truly terrifying. At the same time, they poured the power of their saint artifacts into the formation of destruction. The formation rotated rapidly and broke through the statue. Then, these people were enveloped by a force. Damn it, we can't let them in. When the surrounding people saw this scene, their expressions changed. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a method to break through the statue. These people moved out one after another, but they were still a step too late. When countless Saint King level powers descended, Lin Xian and the others had already disappeared. Damn it, the people from the primordial grotto roared crazily. Damn it, let's attack the other stone statues. The surrounding people also turned their gazes to their surroundings. Among them, the people from the primordial grotto and the Acheron Hall joined forces and stared at one of the stone statues. The Saint King-level weapons in their hands exploded. However, the power of their attacks was reflected back at them, causing them to vomit blood non-stop. What was going on? The expressions of the surrounding people changed. Were the Saint King-level weapons not enough? These people joined forces again. This time, there were 5 Saint King-level weapons. They did not believe that they could not break through. However, the impact that these people received this time was even stronger. Damn it, these people's eyes were red. Gu Feng's expression was cold. He said, "Don't waste your energy. That kid didn't break it with brute force. He used a formation to break the formation. We have to find the key to breaking it. Otherwise, no matter how strong their power was, it would be useless in front of this mysterious stone statue." These people's expressions were extremely cold. At this moment, Chao Tiancheng walked out and looked at the few figures among them. He said, "Help me, and I'll bring you in." Those people were stunned. Did Chao Tiancheng have this ability? So many Saint King level weapons couldn't do it, so they were puzzled. However, the people from the 7-star tower stood out and said, "We believe in you." They would help the Limitless sect. The others watched coldly. However, what shocked them was that Chao Tiancheng actually formed countless mysterious runes and broke the statue. Then, the group of people was also enveloped by a terrifying power and disappeared. How was this possible? What was the background of this Chao Tiancheng? These people were all crazy. Gu Feng's expression became even more ugly. Damn it, he didn't expect that after Lin Xian, another difficult opponent would appear. It wasn't that he hadn't seen Chao Tianfeng before. He also knew how powerful he was, but so what? After all, he was from a great emperor family. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't be heaven-defying. However, he didn't expect that he had underestimated him. The other party was actually able to break it, but he couldn't do anything at the moment. There were a total of 4 statues. At this moment, 2 of them were broken. There were only 2 left. These 2, they had to go in. Therefore, these people joined forces and prepared to study it. The eyes of the others were also flickering. Not long after, more people came into the mysterious palace. This time, there were also many people who came. After they came in, they understood the previous situation. Immediately, some of their faces darkened. Among them, there were people from the 3 dragon clans. There was also a figure who looked like a fairy from the 9 heavens. It was Shen Jingqiu. She wasn't with Morong Qingcheng previously, so she didn't meet him in the previous battle. Now that she came and heard the news, her expression became incomparably cold. Chapter 43:11. Shen Jingqiu was furious, but she did not attack these people immediately. Instead, she looked at the two stone statues. In the next moment, her eyes flickered. The mysterious woman in her mind sent her a voice transmission. There was a way to enter. Shen Jingqiu nodded and said to the people of the three dragon races, "Help me, and I'll bring you in." If it were anyone else, the people of the three Dragon Balls might not agree, but since it was Shen Jingqiu, they agreed. In the next moment, these people walked towards one of the statues. The surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? Could it be that these people wanted to crack it? What a joke! Although this Shen Jingqiu was also a genius, she was not outstanding among so many geniuses. How could the other party crack it? Gu Feng's face was also gloomy. He wanted to see if the other party was bluffing. After a while, suddenly, everyone was stunned. They discovered that the statue in front of them also cracked and then shattered. How was that possible? These people's eyes were about to pop out. Shen Jingqiu could crack it too. They were all crazy. What was going on? Why was it that they could not crack it even when they used all their strength, but the other party could? Did they crack it? The people of the three dragon races were also surprised, because from the looks of the remaining people, they could tell that it would be very difficult to crack it. However, they did not expect Shen Jingqiu to succeed. At this moment, a mysterious power enveloped them, and Gu Feng's body suddenly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already beside Shen Jingqiu and the others. It seemed that he was going to use his spatial ability to follow them in. Damn it! Meng Qing and the others shouted angrily and attacked Gu Feng with their Dragon Ball lost skill. Gu Feng tore open a spatial tear and transferred all this energy to another space. Great! The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. This time, he could finally enter. However, at this moment, Shen Jingqiu snorted coldly and suddenly turned around. The cosmic form behind her threw out a card. Gu Feng was originally disdainful. With his spatial ability, he was not afraid of the great dragon sword soul. It could not hurt him at all. However, in the next moment, his pupils constricted. The reason for that was because he sensed an extremely terrifying power. It was already able to threaten him. Therefore, he could only dodge and leave this space. In the next moment, the place where he was completely shattered. Shen Jingqiu and the others had already disappeared. What was going on? Had Gu Feng been forced back? How was this possible? The surrounding people were shocked once again. The people from the Gu clan were also shocked. Gu Feng's expression was extremely gloomy. Damn it, what kind of absolute art did this woman master? Why was it so mysterious? There was only one statue left. It seemed to be their last hope. These people were prepared to fight back with all their might. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others felt the space around them spinning. When the energy disappeared, they hurriedly defended themselves. However, when they discovered that there was no danger around them, they all heaved a sigh of relief. "Look, what's that?" Someone cried out in alarm. They looked ahead. Further ahead, there was an even more terrifying statue. It stood there like a god of war. The aura it emitted contained a desolate power that made people want to kneel down and worship it. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. What kind of place was this? "Look, there are words on the ground." Someone cried out in alarm. Lin Xian and the others looked over and saw the words "ancient trial grounds" written on the ground. Lin Xian was too shocked. He didn't expect that there would be a trial ground in this battlefield. It was too unbelievable. Linghu Chueshua frowned slightly. He said that it was possible. The ancient battlefield used to be a super sect. However, it was destroyed in the ancient battle, leaving behind this palace. Perhaps this was what the disciples of that sect used to train. This explanation was reasonable, so everyone nodded. Since that was the case, they should see what this trial was. Everyone took a deep breath and prepared to walk forward. The huge statue held a huge sword in its left hand and a treasure bottle in its right hand. At this moment, As everyone walked forward, the treasure bottle in its right hand slowly descended, as if it was going to suck everyone in. It was obvious that the trial grounds were inside. Go. Everyone's eyes lit up. Since they were already here, how could they not go in? Therefore, they all moved and entered the treasure bottle. Lin Xian naturally went in as well. In the next moment, he felt that the people around him had disappeared. Obviously, this was a solo trial that could only be completed by himself. He appeared in a mountain range. His surroundings were very quiet. There was nothing. Lin Xian didn't know what the trial was, so he was always prepared. However, in the next moment, his pupils shrank. That was because he discovered that another figure had appeared in front of him. He was very familiar with that figure. It was himself. That figure's eyes were also filled with confidence. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. He looked as if he was looking down on the world. Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that the content of the trial was to fight with himself? He was truly surprised. That was because he had encountered countless opponents on his journey. There were even successors of great emperors, natural enemies. However, he had already walked all the way here. However, a person's greatest enemy was himself. Thus, Lin Xian really didn't know if a person could defeat him. Thinking of that, a light appeared in his eyes. What an interesting trial. In the next moment, he turned into a bolt of lightning and charged forward. He used the man-ruler seal and slapped it forward. Let's see how this trial is going to turn out. The figure opposite him also used the man-ruler seal. When the two attacks collided, an earth-shattering sound was immediately heard. Lin Xian was forced back. He felt his arm go numb. That attack was really powerful. He felt as if he had collided with a mountain. Was that the power of the 9-yang divine body and the man-ruler seal? It was too terrifying. It was the first time he felt it. As for the figure on the other side, he also retreated. It seemed that he had received the same impact as him. It was a little interesting. It was exactly the same as him. It was really unbelievable. Lin Xian had also used the dream leaf in a battle like this before. However, the opponents that he created back then were all imaginary opponents. Moreover, he didn't make himself an opponent. Therefore, it was the first time he had seen such a scene. In the next moment, he attacked again. This time, it was the 10 ultimate sword formation. The terrifying 10 ultimate laws spread between heaven and earth. The terrifying sword Qi was about to destroy everything. A formation also appeared under his opponent's feet. It was the 10 ultimate sword formation. The two of them fought again. This battle was earth-shattering. After thousands of moves, the two of them were evenly matched. Lin Xian was too shocked. His opponent knew the man-ruler seal, 9-yang divine body, 10 ultimate sword formation, tiger demon fist, and even the heavenly secret divine eyes. His opponent's strength was beyond his expectations. Even his opponent's timing and grasp of the battle were exactly the same. Chapter 43:12. Lin Xian was not the only one. The others had also encountered such opponents, so they had been fighting each other for a long time. Defeating oneself was undoubtedly the most difficult thing. Therefore, after an unknown amount of time, these people did not succeed. However, it was not that they did not gain anything. Everyone had achieved a breakthrough in their battle with themselves. Even the use of laws and combat skills had become more powerful. These people's strength had increased. Lin Xian's side was the same. His strength had also increased. However, this was not enough. What he wanted was to defeat his opponent. Lin Xian did not use the great dragon sword soul. He did not know if his opponent could use the same aura. However, even if he could not, he did not intend to use such a powerful force. It would not be effective at all. He wanted to use his own strength. In fact, Lin Xian did not use the Great Destruction Spear. Just like that, he attacked again. Lin Xian fought with himself millions of times. Finally, in this battle, he had broken through his limit. He injured his opponent with a single sword. That Taoist retreated. A crack appeared on his body, and blood flowed out. Lin Xian's face was pale, but his eyes shone with a piercing cold light. Great, I've finally come to this step. He had been waiting for a long time for this moment. In the next moment, he attacked again. Although that figure was injured, his strength was not bad at all. In fact, his wounds were quickly cracking. Lin Xian was already able to injure his opponent. Next, he became more and more courageous. Finally, that person was completely shattered. Lin Xian roared to the sky. He finally did it. He had broken through himself, surpassed his limit, and reached an unbelievable level. As for the shattered figure, it turned into countless strands of power that enveloped Lin Xian. Boom! In front of the huge god of war statue, figures were teleported out one after another. It was obvious that the trial had ended. As soon as these people came out, they discussed with each other and found that they were all fighting with themselves. This kind of battle was too difficult. Most of them did not succeed. However, their strength had increased, which made them very happy. Murong Qingcheng came out. Linghu Chuexue, Fu Hongye, and the others also came out. However, Lin Xian still hadn't come out, which made everyone surprised. What's wrong with junior brother Lin? They were worried, and so was Murong Qingcheng. In the end, they discovered that Lin Xian had walked out. The moment they came out, they felt that Lin Xian was different. Had there been a change in his cultivation? They checked carefully and discovered that Lin Xian was still a middle stage holy venerate. However, he had a special aura. It made them feel that the Lin Xian at this moment was like a completely different person compared to when he had first entered. Older brother Xian, did you succeed? Murong Qingcheng walked up and asked. Lin Xian smiled and nodded. The others sucked in a breath of cold air. The other party had succeeded. It was too inconceivable. The other party had defeated him, surpassing his limits. Even Linghu and the others were shocked because this had nothing to do with their cultivation level. This was a personal breakthrough. They couldn't do it, but Lin Xian did it. At this moment, the huge statue shone brightly, and a force wrapped around them. It seemed like it was going to teleport them out. Indeed, not long after, they found that they had returned to the main hall. At this moment, there was no one around the main hall. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he discovered that the surrounding statues were all broken. He wondered which of the other three had entered. However, at this moment, an insect came in front of Lin Xian and released a soul fluctuation. Lin Xian instantly heard a message. This message was given to him by the nine-headed Qilin. It turned out that the nine-headed Qilin and the others didn't enter the last statue. The last statue was entered by a mysterious person. They knew that they didn't have a chance, so they left. They went outside to search for the Holy King's will. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. The second and third statues were entered by Chao Tianxing and Shen Jingxiu. The fourth statue was of a mysterious person. The nine-headed Qilin didn't recognize him, which surprised him. Who was it? Forget it. He shook his head and didn't think too much about it. Instead, he prepared to leave. Calculating the time, it was about time. It was the end. It wouldn't take long for the third stage to end. Therefore, it was better to search for more Holy King's will. After hearing this, everyone walked out. They were prepared to use the remaining time to search for Holy King's will. At the same time, two rays of light flashed across the primordial battlefield. It was Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian. The two of them didn't enter the mysterious valley previously. They were delayed as they were searching for Holy King's will. At this moment, the two of them were escaping. They had obtained Holy King's will previously, but they were discovered and chased down. At this moment, the one chasing after them was none other than Shi Qingyu, who came out from the mysterious palace. Shi Qingyu didn't get any benefits previously. He was even mocked by Lin Xian, which made him furious. Now that he saw the people from Peerless City, he naturally wanted to take revenge. If he could capture these two people, he wanted to see how Lin Xian and the others would react. Therefore, Shi Qingyu quickly attacked. Don't run. With just the two of you, you can't escape. Shi Qingyu sneered behind them. At the front, Lu Yuan and Shangguan Xiaoxian's faces were extremely ugly. To be honest, Shi Qingyu's cultivation was stronger than theirs. However, if the two of them joined forces, they might be able to fight against him. However, they didn't dare to fight at all. That was because Shi Qingyu had a Holy King's weapon in his hand. This had completely surpassed their defense. They couldn't block it at all. As expected, Shi Qingyu used the stone pagoda and shot out a ray of light toward Lu Yuan and Shangguan Xiaoxian. Lu Yuan roared, "Iron Horse Ice River." The boundless ice formed a demonic beast that stood between the heavens and earth as a form of defense. On the other side, Shangguan Xiaoxian also used the scroll in her hand. She shot out a mysterious mountain river painting defending between heaven and earth. However, in an instant, the two of them were shattered. The two of them were sent flying while vomiting blood. There was nothing they could do. The Holy King's weapon was too powerful. They couldn't block it at all. Shangguan Xiaoxian's face turned ugly. Lu Yuan waved his hand and took out a Holy King's will. This was the only way. He used his strength to throw the Holy King's will in the opposite direction. As for them, they quickly flew away. It seemed like they were trying to lure the other party away. Holy King's will? Shi Qingyu was also taken aback when he saw this scene. Soon after, he revealed a smile. He quickly chased after the Holy King's will. Seeing this, Lu Yuan and Shangguan Xiaoxian heaved a sigh of relief. Great. It seemed like they were safe. However, in the next moment, their faces changed. The surrounding land and mountains kept changing. Countless laws were emitted from them, forming a huge barrier. It seemed like the barrier was trying to seal them. Chapter 43:13. Damn it! Their faces turned ugly. They did not expect that the other party would not let them go. Since this was the case, a cold glint appeared in Lu Yuan's eyes. He waved his hand, and the seal on the Sage King's will cracked open. Boom! The Sage King's will shone brightly, and a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Shi Qingyu's face changed, and he used the stone pagoda to defend himself. The stone pagoda was pushed back, and the energy swept out in all directions, attracting the attention of countless people. Many people raised their heads and looked into the distance. What's that aura? It's the aura of a Sage King. Let's go and take a look. Many people flew over. At this moment, Lin Xian also sensed it. At this moment, his figure flashed, and he also rushed over. This time, there was no one beside him. After they came out, they tried their best to find the Sage King's will. Therefore, Lin Xian acted alone this time. At this moment, he sensed the Sage King's will, and his eyes lit up. He turned into a ray of light and rushed over. At the same time, many people went over. When they came close, they were stunned. They saw the people from Wushuang City and the people from the Primordial Grotto. There was also a Sage King's weapon. These people were stunned and did not dare to rush over. They could not defeat the Sage King's weapon. At this moment, Shi Qingyu's face turned cold. Kid, you dare to attack. You're going to die. He looked at Lu Yuan and Shangguan Xiaoxian, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. The two of them were pale. Were they still unable to leave? Were they really going to die here today? When the others saw this, they were shocked. It seemed that the two geniuses from Wushuang City were going to be in trouble. Yes, Shi Qingyu was an expert in the later stages. He was very strong. Not to mention, he had a Sage King's weapon. No one could stop him, Everyone knew that Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian were going to die. Shi Qingyu walked over with the stone pagoda. His killing intent quickly spread out. At this moment, a cold voice resounded throughout the world. You dare to attack the people from Wushuang City. Do you really think that I won't kill you? When this voice came out, everyone was stunned. Who was it? He actually dared to challenge Shi Qingyu. Was he tired of living? Shi Qingyu also stopped in his tracks, and a shocking light burst out from his eyes. Who is it? Get over here and accept your death. What a joke! Who would dare to challenge him now? In the next moment, everyone saw a figure appear in the sky and land directly. His body glowed like a sun war god as he appeared in front of everyone. It was this kid. Everyone was stunned. Even Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian's pupils shrank. Lin Xian. They said, Junior brother Lin, leave quickly. This guy has a Saint King weapon. Previously, they had been searching for the Sage King's will. Therefore, they did not know about the previous battle. He did not know that Lin Xian also had a Saint King's weapon. They were very worried at the moment. Lin Xian turned around and looked at the two of them. He took out some spirit fruits and handed them to them. Then he said, Don't worry, it's just a defeated opponent. There's nothing to worry about. When these words came out, Lu Yuan and Lu Yuan were both stunned. A defeated opponent. Could it be that Shi Qingyu was defeated by Lin Xian? This was too unbelievable. In front of them, Shi Qingyu's expression also became extremely ugly. Extremely terrifying killing intent burst out from his eyes. So it's you. He looked around and realized that Lin Xian was the only one who had come. He immediately revealed a sinister smile. You really don't know what's good for you. How dare you come alone? Since that's the case, you can die. He was really too happy. This was a good opportunity for him to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. You? I've already said that you are a defeated opponent. Without a Saint King weapon, I can kill you in 3 moves. When these words came out, the surrounding people were all stunned. Although they knew that Lin Xian had defeated Shi Qingyu, that was over 1,000 moves. It was simply impossible to defeat the opponent in 3 moves. As expected, Shi Qingyu's expression turned cold. Very well, I want to see how you can defeat me. He was really angry now. However, Lin Xian sneered. I was wrong. Previously, it was 3 moves. Now, I can defeat you in 1 move. That was indeed the case. Now Lin Xian challenged him again and surpassed his limits. His strength increased again. Hence, Shi Qingyu was no match for him now. Despicable brat, don't be so arrogant. Shi Qingyu shouted angrily and charged over. At this moment, countless mysterious runes appeared on his arms. He activated his bloodline power because he knew how strong Lin Xian was. Furthermore, he wanted to use his full strength to kill Lin Xian. Hence, he did not hold back at all in this attack. A fearsome bloodline power surged forth, turning his hands into incomparably powerful warhammers. An extremely terrifying power surged out, as if 2 mountains were descending from the sky. This terrifying power caused the expressions of the surrounding people to change. Even a late-stage Holy Venerate could not block this attack. It seemed that Shi Qingyu was really angry now. Not good. Shangguan Shaoxian and the others cried out in alarm when facing such a terrifying attack. However, Lin Xian did not care at all. He still had a smile on his face. When the 2 palms arrived before him, he made his move. He formed hand seals with his palms. A terrifying aura spread out. The man-ruler seal smashed forward with a will that looked down on the world and looked down on the world. At this moment, Lin Xian seemed to have turned into a supreme god. Kill. With a furious shout, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The man-ruler seal smashed into the other party's huge palms. A destructive power swept out in all directions. Retreat quickly. The surrounding people kept retreating. Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian also quickly retreated into the distance. This power was too strong. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to display such terrifying power. It seemed that Lin Xian's strength had increased during this period of time. It had far surpassed their imagination. After the attack, cracks appeared on the two terrifying palms in the sky. Then the cracks exploded, and a figure retreated. The surrounding people were stunned. They discovered that the person who retreated was Shi Qingyu. How is this possible? Countless people exclaimed. Did Lin Xian really defeat Shi Qingyu in one go? Their minds went blank. They originally thought that Lin Xian was just being arrogant. Who would have thought that he really did it? Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian were also shocked. They could not believe the strength. Shi Qingyu's face turned pale. There was a look of despair in his eyes. How is this possible? Although he was defeated earlier, it was only by a small margin. However, he had lost too much now. He could not take this palm at all. Chapter 43:14. An ant will always be an ant. Do you think you can turn the tables around in my hands? Lin Xian's cold voice rang out. Shi Qingyu, on the other hand, roared. With a roar, his body recovered. At the same time, he swallowed pills like crazy. In the next moment, he charged over with the stone pagoda. Kid, I'm going to destroy your soul. The bloodline power in his body burst out again. Obviously, Shi Qingyu was going all out. The stone pagoda above his head shone with a terrifying light. A destructive aura spread out in all directions. The surrounding people also spat out mouthfuls of blood. Their expressions changed. Not good. Retreat. This guy is going crazy again. As expected, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian exclaimed in astonishment. Junior brother Lin, run. Although Lin Xian could defeat Shi Qingyu with a single move, it was still not comparable to a Sage King's weapon. In the face of such destructive energy, Lin Xian was like a small boat in the sea. He could be swallowed up at any time. However, he was still not afraid. So, what if Shi Qingyu had a Sage King's weapon? He had one too. He took out the Great Destruction. A monstrous demonic aura spread out in all directions, blocking the terrifying energy. Do you think you can turn the tables by taking out a Sage King's weapon? You're too naive. I'll let you know that even in a battle of weapons, you're still no match for me. At this moment, Lin Xian was extremely domineering. The surrounding people also exclaimed. It was another Sage King's weapon. Even Lu Yuan and Shangguan Shaoxian were stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to have a Sage King's weapon as well. Indeed, in the next moment, the two sides started fighting again. At this moment, everyone retreated far away, because the energy this time was many times stronger. It was not something they could withstand. They could not withstand just a little bit of energy. However, in the end, they realized that even with a Sage King's weapon, Shi Qingyu was still vomiting blood. His body had been blasted apart. In the end, he took the stone pagoda and tore open the void to escape. Don't you think it's too late to leave? Lin Xian displayed the 10 ultimate swords formation, suppressing all directions. A terrifying sword chi blocked everything. Get out of my sight. Shi Qingyu roared angrily. At the same time, he crazily bombarded the sword chi. The sword chi shattered. However, he was also blocked. And at this moment, Lin Xian once again charged over with great destruction. Not only that, but he also took out the Tai Chi diagram, which continuously shone with light. The Tai Chi diagram unleashed its law, and the law of death spread out continuously, shrouding the other party. Shi Qingyu's face immediately turned pale. This was because the law of death could take away his life force. He was so frightened that he hurriedly used the stone tower to defend himself. Lin Xian frowned. He had to admit that the stone pagoda was an extremely terrifying Saint King weapon. However, now that he thought about it, the other party should be severely injured. If possible, he really wanted to kill the other party. However, at this moment, an icy aura also appeared in the sky. Then, a few figures appeared. It's actually you. The few figures that appeared were from the great desolate mansion. As soon as they appeared, they roared and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Are these people courting death? He immediately wielded great destruction and charged towards them. Boom! With one strike, two figures were instantly shattered. The surrounding people also vomited mouthfuls of blood. He was too strong, and they couldn't withstand it at all. The others were shocked. What was going on? Were the people from the great desolate mansion stupid? Why did they dare to attack directly? Did they think that they could withstand the attack of a Saint King weapon? However, in the next moment, they understood. It turned out that they were trying to attract Lin Xian's attention. This was because when Lin Xian attacked, two figures appeared behind him. They were emitting terrifying killing intent. Their attacks were aimed at Lin Xian's vital points. One of the sword lights was extremely powerful. Even if it wasn't a Saint King weapon, it wasn't far from it. This was the real killer move. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Are they from the mortal realm again? These people were still unwilling to give up. Moreover, how did these saint slayers get in? He was very puzzled. Every time he fought with the people from the Acheron Palace and the great desolate mansion, there would always be people from the mortal realm. He suspected that there might be some connection between the two parties. However, he didn't have time to think about it now. The two killing swords instantly shrouded him. Lin Xian roared angrily and executed Void Escape, disappearing in an instant. At the same time, stellar transposition caused their forces to collide. The two swords deviated from their directions. On the other hand, Lin Xian charged out. The human ruler seal slapped towards one of them, while the other used the Tai Chi diagram. The law of death instantly made that person roar crazily. Obviously, that person's vitality was greatly depleted. The other person collided with the human ruler seal, causing an earth-shattering force to erupt. Then, he was sent flying. After failing to hit their target, the two immediately hid in the void and tried to leave. The faces of the people from the great desolate mansion turned extremely ugly. They still didn't succeed? This was too unbelievable. Could it be that they still couldn't kill this brat? Lin Xian's eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. A pair of heavenly secret god eyes bloomed between heaven and earth, trying to escape. With a roar, a golden radiance shrouded the surroundings. Soon, he locked onto a figure. The 10 extinction swords slashed out and instantly split the other party into two. Blood flowed out, and the energy of death exploded, turning the other party into white bones. The walking soul was destroyed. At this moment, the other person fled into the distance. It seemed like he was about to escape. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms. The gaze of the heavenly god in the sky became even more terrifying. Under this pair of eyes, no one could escape. Indeed, the soul consciousness floated down and ignited that person's soul. That person roared in pain in the sky. In the end, his soul was destroyed. Damn it. The people from the great desolate mansion roared. Lin Xian sneered. What? You can't hold it in anymore? Don't worry. I'll let you know what despair is. With that said, Lin Xian unleashed the soul consciousness once again and attacked the surrounding people. Instantly, the souls of two people from the great desolate mansion were destroyed, and they fell from the sky. The surrounding people were frightened. The people from the great desolate mansion were roaring, "You're courting death." They were really angry. They quickly charged towards Lin Xian. But soon, they were sent flying by the 10 extinction swords. Although these people were powerful sages, they were nothing in front of Lin Xian at this moment. They might not even be able to block one of Lin Xian's attacks. Retreat Quickly, the surrounding people frantically retreated. At the same time, a middle-aged man appeared in the sky. His expression was cold as he looked disdainfully at the surroundings. A desolate saber appeared in his hand. The aura on it was extremely terrifying. Obviously, it was a Sage King weapon. Seeing this, the people from the Great Desolation Mansion stopped what they were doing. Elder, kill him. You must kill him and avenge us. Chapter 43:15. The middle-aged man said, "Don't worry, he will definitely die today." The middle-aged man took a step forward and slashed down with his saber. Heaven and earth were split apart. Lin Xian sneered and used the Great Destruction Spear to block the attack. Heaven and earth trembled, but they could not break the Great Destruction Spear. Seeing this, the middle-aged man's face turned ugly. He waved his saber continuously. Lin Xian blocked all of his attacks. At the same time, Lin Xian used the Tai Chi diagram, and it spun between heaven and earth. Yin and yang energy fell, and a terrifying light burned everything. The terrifying law of death took away the vitality of these people. That was the most terrifying thing. These people retreated frantically, and some of their vitality was taken away. The middle-aged man's pupils shrank. Although he looked young, to be honest, he had lived for more than 6,000 years. If his vitality was taken away, it would be difficult for him to recover. Therefore, he circled the desolate saber around him and shot out countless saber lights to block the law of death. You dare to fight me with such little strength? You must be tired of living. Lin Xian sneered, and the middle-aged man was furious. Damn it. How dare you be so reckless? He turned to Shi Qingyu and said, "Let's work together." Shi Qingyu nodded and walked up as well. The stone tower above her head emitted an unparalleled radiance. The weapons of the two Saint Kings exploded together, and the power was extremely strong. At this moment, everyone was stunned. It's over. Lin Xian is really in danger this time. He was facing the weapons of two Saint Kings alone. No matter how strong he was, he would not be able to withstand it. Lu Yuan and Shangguan Xiaoxin's faces turned ugly. The advantage that he had gained was probably gone now. Facing such a dangerous situation, Lin Xian smiled. His black hair danced wildly, and he looked like a peerless god of war. "Do you think you can kill me with just the two of you? You are too naive. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish." Lin Xian was extremely strong at this moment, and the energy in his body kept exploding. He stared at Shi Qingyu and said coldly, "I've already spared you twice, but you still don't know what's good for you. Do you really think I can hold back just because you're from the primordial grotto?" With that, Lin Xian charged over. The spear of destruction pressed forward, shattering everything in its path. Shi Qingyu's pupils shrank. He didn't expect the other party's target to be him. Damn it! Attack! With a roar, the stone pagoda above Zhang Xian's head descended once more. 10,000 strands of aura bombarded the stone pagoda relentlessly. On the other side, the old man also unleashed a terrifying saber light. Lin Xian kept dodging, using the void escape to appear and disappear unpredictably, dodging these attacks. His target this time was Shi Qingyu. He wanted to get rid of one of them first. The terrifying demonic qi was unparalleled as it rushed towards Shi Qingyu. Even the power of the desolate blade was destroyed by Lin Xian's stellar transposition. In an instant, a great battle broke out. It was extremely terrifying. "Damn it! How dare you look down on me?" Shi Qingyu roared in anger as he quickly unleashed an even more terrifying attack. At the same time, the desolate blade unleashed its power. It was extremely sharp as it slashed around Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face turned pale from the impact. He even bled. However, he didn't care. His eyes became even colder. He continued to charge towards his opponent. At this moment, Lin Xian unleashed all of his power. He was extremely powerful. The great spear of destruction emitted the roar of a dragon and tiger. The power of the great dragon sword soul also erupted. This attack blasted everything apart. He was sent flying. Shi Qingyu also vomited blood. The surrounding people couldn't believe it. Lin Xian also spat out a mouthful of blood. Facing the weapons of 2 sage kings alone was a heavy burden on him. However, the light in his eyes shone even brighter. Now was the time. A dragon-shaped sword chi flew out and slashed Shi Qingyu's broken body into a bloody mist. Roar! Shi Qingyu roared crazily. Save me! He summoned the stone pagoda to defend himself. On the other hand, he was pleading for help from the middle-aged man from the great desolate mansion. The middle-aged man from the great desolate mansion once again used the desolate blade to defend himself. However, it was too late. 10 types of laws erupted from the sword. The most terrifying one was the power of the great dragon sword soul. It destroyed everything. As for the law of death, it completely absorbed the remaining life force. In this way, Shi Qingyu's vitality was completely gone. His soul was also destroyed. It turned into a bloody mist and ceased to exist. Is he dead? The surrounding people were all stunned. They couldn't believe it. Oh God, Shi Qingyu had a Sage King weapon. Even if he couldn't defeat Lin Xian, he should have no problem staying alive. However, he was completely destroyed by Lin Xian. Everyone couldn't believe it. The middle-aged man from the great desolate mansion also narrowed his eyes. His face turned extremely ugly. To be honest, the reason why he dared to attack was because of the Sage King weapon in his hand. However, he realized that the Sage King weapon couldn't save his life. This caused him to become incomparably terrified. He led the people from the great desolate mansion and quickly escaped. Lin Xian chased after them. Where could they escape to? He continuously used the power of destruction, causing the people in front of him to tremble and spit out blood. However, the middle-aged man didn't dare to fight back. During this time, he encountered the people from the Acheron Hall and was ready to fight back. In the end, 2 people from the Acheron Hall were killed, and 3 people from the Great Desolate Mansion were killed. This time, they didn't dare to attack again. Next, they encountered the Myriad Sword Pavilion. Similarly, they were also killed by Lin Xian. They were instantly devastated. This time, there weren't many people who came in. As a result, their losses were even more severe. Along the way, Lin Xian shook the heavens and earth. In the end, everyone knew that Lin Xian was chasing after those people. The battle ahead alerted Fu Hongya and the others. They also followed. When they found out that it was Lin Xian, they were shocked. What was going on? When they asked, they found out that Lin Xian had done such a heaven-defying thing. He single-handedly defeated those experts from the sacred city, and they didn't dare to fight back. In fact, many of them died. Their expressions became extremely strange. This was heaven-defying. They wondered how the Sage Kings outside would react when they found out about this. Next, the entire primordial battlefield became even more confusing. Moreover, there was a force that was spreading. Everyone knew that perhaps the time to leave was very close. Indeed, a vortex appeared in the sky and slowly appeared. It seemed that the time was up. This made everyone sigh. Although the primordial battlefield was extremely dangerous and there was a high chance of death, the benefits were also great. Not only did they have the king's heart, but they also had various treasures. They really hoped that they could stay for a while longer. Lin Xian took a deep breath when he saw this. At this moment, many people had gathered around him. He said, "Why don't we attack one last time?" Chapter 43:16. What do you want to do? Ling Hu, Cui Xue, and the others asked, because there was very little time now. If they didn't find it, they would leave this place. Lin Xian said that we don't have to look for them. We'll let them come by themselves. As he spoke, he took out the Holy King's will. At the last moment, if they found a large number of holy kings will gather together, do you think they would come? Hearing those words, Ling Huchui Xue and the others revealed smiles on their faces. Great, these people also took out the Holy King's will. Immediately, more than a dozen holy kings will emitted light between heaven and earth. That terrifying aura immediately attracted countless people. Heavens! It was the aura of the Holy King's will. Some people's eyes turned red again. To be honest, not everyone had obtained the Holy King's will. Originally, they were already in despair. However, at the last moment, the aura of so many holy kings will appeared. This made them ecstatic. If they could obtain it, then they still had a chance. In an instant, many people rushed out. Not only did they not obtain it, but those who obtained it were also jealous. It was precisely because they obtained the Holy King's will that they knew how precious it was. Therefore, they wanted to get as much as possible. Countless people gathered in this direction. In the next moment, they discovered that there were indeed more than a dozen Holy King's will in the sky. These people's eyes turned red. However, they discovered that there were some figures below these Holy King's will. At this moment, they were sneering. The people of Peerless City, when they saw Lin Xian Ling Huchui Xue and the others, their scalps went numb. Could it be that this was a trap? Some people instantly retreated, not wanting to fight with the people of Peerless City. There were also some people who came, such as the people of Thunder God City, and the people of Demon City, the people of Taiga Grotto, and the 10,000 Sword Pavilion also came. So, what if it was a trap? They had so many people, could they not defeat the other party? In an instant, these people attacked crazily. As for Lin Xian and Ling Huchui Xue, they instantly took out 2 Holy King's weapons and killed in all directions. At the same time, some formations appeared in the surroundings. These were all set up by Lin Xian. Not good. This is a trap. Quickly counterattack. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they roared crazily. For a moment, terrifying laws permeated the world. An unparalleled pressure spread out, causing the entire world to shake. However, this time, Lin Xian and the others were fully prepared. They instantly attacked, causing the expressions of the experts from the Holy City to change. Boom. In an instant, many people were sent flying and vomited blood. Some people even knelt on the ground, unable to resist. Run. Those people who were originally watching the battle immediately ran away. They still wanted to sit back and reap the benefits. But now, it seemed that it was impossible. It was already good enough that they could escape. The whirlpool in the sky grew bigger and bigger, and those people flew out one after another. The next moment, they felt the world spin, and when they reappeared, they were already outside. Outside, the reincarnation protector stood there, with stars flickering in his eyes. The saint rulers around him all wore solemn expressions as they waited. They looked at the 6 paths reincarnation in front of them and felt the presence inside. They all took a deep breath as they knew that the people inside were about to come out. In the next moment, they saw figures flying out of the pagoda one after another. Have they finally come out? These people all looked over nervously. Although they were all saint rulers, they were also extremely nervous at this moment. After all, they were not sure how many people could successfully come out of the last round. And those who went in, it would be a huge loss if even one of them died. After all, those who could reach the 3rd round were all extremely powerful people in the Holy City. The people from the returning Principal Palace, Giant Spirit Pavilion, and Limitless Sect led the way and flew out first. After they came out, they heaved a sigh of relief. Saint rulers. They found their respective saint rulers and quickly walked over. Those saint rulers also revealed a smile. How was it? Did you get the saint rulers' will? They asked. Those people nodded. Some people got it, and of course some didn't. After all, the saint rulers was an extremely rare thing. The other saint rulers frowned. Why were only these people coming out? They thought that the others should still be behind. Sure enough, a few more people came out. However, after a long time, no one else came out. What was going on? The saint rulers of the 1,000-demon city and thunder god city frowned. Those who came out said, there was a big battle inside. Peerless City and the people from the Akron Hall and Primordial Grotto were fighting. Were they fighting? No one was surprised. But soon, the saint rulers' faces changed. Those who came out said that the people from Peerless City had set up a trap to attack the people from the Primordial Grotto, Thunder God City, and Great Desolate Mansion. Not only that, but Lin Woody was really too strong. He had killed too many experts. Half of the people from the Akron Hall had died in his hands. It was the same for the Great Desolate Mansion. What? When those words came out, Saint Ruler Silver Corpse and Saint Ruler Desolate Heaven were instantly enraged. Extremely terrifying, murderous intent burst out from their eyes. What was going on? A cold voice rang out between heaven and earth. Those people's scalps went numb. The saint rulers frowned as they protected their subordinates. What do you mean? Don't scare the people of the holy city. The two saint rulers also restrained their murderous intent, but they still asked, what was going on? Those who came out said, we don't know. It is impossible for us to know the specifics. We only know that a terrifying battle took place. The people from the Primordial Grotto snorted. Don't worry, our people will take care of them. His eyes were filled with incomparable confidence. Someone from the Primordial Grotto had a saint ruler weapon, but he was still killed by Lin Woody. What? The surrounding saint rulers were stunned. Saint Ruler Spirit Speaker from the Primordial Grotto stiffened. He had just said that their people were strong, but they were slapped in the face. Damn it. How was that possible? Saint Ruler Spirit Speaker roared, his voice shaking the 9 heavens. Those who came out did not dare to say anything else. Some of the saint rulers looked gloomy, and many of them looked at Peerless Saint Ruler. Peerless Saint Ruler put his hands behind his back, a smile on his face. It seemed that Peerless City had achieved very good results in the Primordial Grotto. The battle inside was very intense. Another 2 people from the Akron Hall were killed, and only 1 person was left. He quickly escaped. A few people from the Primordial Grotto had also died. Peerless City was too strong, and no one dared to fight. Hurry up and run. These people all ran away. Lin Xian and the others quickly chased after them. Light flashed in the Reincarnation Pagoda, and a figure suddenly appeared. It was someone from the Akron Hall. Many people looked over. Was the battle over? It seemed that the people from the Akron Hall had returned victorious. Chapter 43:17. However, right at this moment, everyone discovered that a piercingly cold sword light streaked across the sky and directly cleaved that figure into 2. In the next moment, the body turned into a bloody mist and floated out of the pagoda. What? Was he killed? Was there someone chasing after him? The surrounding people were all stunned. The Silver Corpse Saint King roared in anger. Damn it. The Reincarnation Protector stretched out his hand and tried to grab the Reincarnation Protector. However, the Reincarnation Protector turned around and glared at him coldly. Holy King Silver Corpse's hand stopped in midair. This was the Reincarnation Guardian's territory, and he did not dare to act recklessly. He could only clench his teeth and retract his hand. The person who came out of the Akron Hall was killed. After that, more people came out. They were the people from the Primordial Grotto, the Great Desolate Mansion, and the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. They were all injured, and their faces were ugly. The moment they came out, they shouted, "Old Ancestor, kill him! Holy King, you must avenge us!" These people were shouting crazily. They were on the verge of tears. Meanwhile, those Saint Kings frowned. What was going on? Could it be that their people had suffered a loss? Holy King Silvercorpse of the Acheron Hall looked even worse. That was because no one came back from his side. Damn it, how could it be? Where were the 5 people who went in? They must be behind. However, the next people to come out were Lin Xian, Ling Hu Chue Xue, and the rest of the people from Wushuang City. Wushuang Holy King smiled. He waved his hand and called everyone to his side. Damn it, where were they? The Silver Corpse Saint King roared and glared at the front. Lin Xian sneered. Don't look forward to it. The 5 people from the Acheron Hall have all died in there. What? The other Holy Kings were shocked, too. All of them had died. To be honest, they had expected the 5 of them to die. However, only 5 people had entered the Acheron Hall. Didn't that mean that all of them had died? That was too shocking. Not a single person from the Holy City could come out. Moreover, the Acheron Hall was the host this time. It was a slap in the face. The people from the other holy cities did not look good either. The reason for that was because their losses were also extremely disastrous. For example, the primordial grotto's sacred king spirit language was clenching his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. He discovered that Shi Qingyu was among the dead. One had to know that Shi Qingyu was a top-notch expert on their side. Moreover, she had even held a Saint King's weapon back then. He even joined forces with an expert from the Great Desolate Mansion. Even 2 Saint King-level weapons couldn't kill him, like the Great Desolate Mansion and Thunder God City. They had also suffered heavy losses. Therefore, these people gritted their teeth and looked towards Peerless City. The gazes of these Saint Kings pierced through the void, shattering the surrounding heaven and earth. Peerless Sacred King activated the law of devouring, forming a huge black vortex that engulfed the murderous intent. Then he said, "What? Are you going to fight in front of the reincarnation protectors? All right, Peerless Saint King, I will remember this. Do you think this matter will end so quickly? Just you wait." The eyes of these Saint Kings were filled with killing intent. However, Peerless Saint King groaned coldly. He did not care at all. So what if it was a threat? Lin Xian sneered. What? You can't take it anymore? I've said it before. When you attacked me back then, you should have thought of the consequences. Damn it! Saint King Silvercorpse and the others gritted their teeth. They wished they could kill this despicable brat in front of them. However, they did not do so because the reincarnation protector had walked over. He said, "Since everyone has come out, I believe that some of you have obtained the Saint King's will. Very well. 1 year later, bring the Saint King's will to see me. I will bring you to the buried Emperor's star. All right, you can leave now." As the reincarnation protector's voice fell, the surrounding people took a deep breath. Was it finally the final moment? Some of the people who had obtained the Saint King's will clenched their fists. 1 year later, they would be able to go to the buried Emperor's star. Let's go. Since the matter had ended, there was no point in staying here. It was better to leave. Peerless Saint King waved his hand, and the law of devouring enveloped Lin Xian and the others. Then he left. Murong Qingcheng and the others also left. On the other side, the immemorial grotto, Acheron Palace, and the others also soared into the sky and left. However, they did not leave the origin star. Instead, they stayed here. After all, a year was a very short time for them. "Master, where are we going?" Ling Hu Chue Xue and the others asked after the 3 of them came out. Here they were unfamiliar with the people and the place. Lin Xian said, "I have a place. Let's go." Indeed, the immortal palace was still here. Lin Xian felt that it was time to go back. They walked towards the immortal palace. As for the others, after they came out, they gritted their teeth and said, "Go and find out where they went." The Saint Kings gritted their teeth. It seemed like they wanted to attack immediately. At this moment, Gu Feng and the people from the Gu family came out. He said that Lin Xian had left this world. When he was in this world, he was the palace master of the Immortal Palace. You can go to the Immortal Palace to look for him. The Immortal Palace? The people from Akron Palace and the Great Desolation Mansion frowned. The people from Immemorial Grotto snorted coldly. I know. Let's go. In an instant, they also left. On the other side, Wan Jinny transmitted his voice to Gu Feng. You promised me that you would let me learn the primal chaos technique. Gu Feng's eyes flickered. He said, Don't worry. I will bring you there in 2 days. The Immortal Palace. At this moment, there were changes. As the power of the true spirit world recovered, the strength of the people of the Immortal Palace increased by leaps and bounds. For example, Peacock and the others had also become saints. Moreover, the overall strength of the Immortal Palace had increased. Some living fossils had even been revived. Therefore, they were still a powerful force. However, on this day, a black vortex suddenly appeared outside the Immortal Palace. Following that, one figure after another walked out. Immediately, the people in the Immortal Palace sensed it. Many elders opened their eyes. Their eyes emitted a biting cold light. How terrifying! This was the aura of a Saint King. Had a Saint King come? Although the true spirit world had recovered its power, a Saint King was still a peak existence here. It was very rare to find a higher existence. It was basically impossible to find one. Perhaps the buried Emperor Star had an even more terrifying existence. Therefore, when Lin Xian and the others sensed the aura of a Saint King, it was as if they were facing a great enemy. A portion of them said, Let's go out and take a look. At the same time, he instructed them to quickly inform the old palace master. The old palace master he spoke of was naturally Xia Jiuyo. This was the Immortal Palace after the peerless Saint King, and the others came out. They looked ahead and revealed a look of surprise. Since they dared to use the name Immortal Palace, it was enough to show how powerful the foundation of the sect ahead was. Chapter 43:18. Lin Xian agreed. Indeed, this was the place. He did not expect the changes to be so great. To be honest, although he was the Immortal Palace's palace master, he was only in charge of a portion of the palace's power. Most of the palace's power should still be in hibernation. Now that he was here, he realized that some of the palace's power had begun to awaken. At that moment, the formation in front of him opened up. One by one, figures flew out. They were all sages. They asked what kind of divine being had graced their immortal palace with his presence. As those figures walked out, they looked forward. Soon, they saw a handsome young man. They were stunned. He was so young. That person was the Sage King. Moreover, he realized that there were many young figures around the Sage King. Each of them was very powerful. They should be young geniuses. Unparalleled Sage King said, "We are from the second astral realm, unparalleled sacred city." The elders in the second astral realm frowned. They did not seem to have much contact with the people from the second astral realm. At that moment, Lin Xian walked out and looked around. He realized that some of the elders looked unfamiliar. They must have awakened recently. Do you guys still recognize me? As soon as he said that, countless people looked at Lin Xian. Some of them were surprised, while others were shocked. It can't be, right? At that moment, another figure walked over from afar. It was a woman with 5-colored light. She exclaimed, "Palace Master, is that you?" As soon as she said that, everyone was stunned. "Palace Master." Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "That's right, it's Palace Master Lin. Palace Master Lin has returned from the ancient Star Road." "That's right, it's me," Lin Xian said loudly. Suddenly, A cry of surprise sounded. "Greetings, Palace Master." Peacock took the lead and bowed with her people. The others also bowed, one after another. "Greetings, Palace Master." Some of the elders had never seen Lin Xian before, but they knew who he was. He was the young palace master that they had never met. "This is my senior brother, unparalleled Sage King." Lin Xian introduced him with a smile. Hearing that, the surrounding people were stunned. "What?" Linghu Chueshue and the others also widened their eyes in disbelief. "Senior brother." To be honest, they thought that peerless Holy King was Lin Xian's master. Who would have thought that it would be his senior brother? What was going on? The peerless Holy King said that Lin Xian was indeed his junior brother, and he would tell them more about it when he had the time. Linghu Chueshue and the others took a deep breath. They knew that this matter was true. It would appear that they had gained another martial uncle. The group entered the Immortal Palace. The people inside the Immortal Palace also cried out in surprise. They didn't expect Lin Xian to return. They hurried in. What followed was a feast. However, at this time, the formation outside the Immortal Palace changed again. In the next moment, a yellow springs diagram appeared above their palace. Countless streams of yellow spring water surged in all directions, forming the figure of the silver corpse Holy King. Then, a cold voice sounded. Was that Immortal Palace? A person who was abandoned by an immortal could actually become Immortal Palace's palace master. It truly was a mockery. Who was it? Immortal Palace's people cried out in alarm, raising their heads towards the sky. They felt the aura of a Holy King pressing down on them. Needless to say, it was also a Holy King. Lin Xian and the people from Peerless City all frowned. It was the Silver Corpse Holy King. This guy actually found his way here. Who are you? Hurry up and leave, or don't blame Immortal Palace for being impolite. The elders beside him also stood up and shouted coldly. So, what if the other party was a Holy King? If he dared to provoke their palace master, he would be making an enemy of Immortal Palace. Who cared who he was? They couldn't let him go. At this time, the void shattered, and another figure appeared. It was Spirit Holy King Yen. He said coldly, "Immortal Palace, do you want to go against our immemorial grotto?" When these words came out, the expressions of Immortal Palace's people changed. It was actually someone from the immemorial grotto. They furrowed their brows as Lin Xian looked at the two of them and coldly said, "What did you come here for?" "Brat, we're here for you." Spirit Holy King Yan's cold voice sounded. However, before he could finish his words, he heard an angry shout, "Get out!" Lin Xian said coldly, "Who do you think you are? You came to Immortal Palace and obediently waited outside the array. Who allowed you to come in like this?" At this moment, Lin Xian was incomparably domineering. Spirit Holy King Yan's expression immediately turned ugly. A young junior dared to shout at him. Did he want to die? His body emitted a terrifying, killing intent. The Silver Corpse Holy King also said, "Brat, do you really think we don't dare to attack you? There are no reincarnation protectors now. If you want to attack, you can try. I can guarantee that your two holy lands will be miserable." Peerless Holy King also stood up, emitting a terrifying, killing intent. Next, Thunder God City's Holy King, Demon City's Desolate Heaven Holy King, and even Myriad Sword Frame's Ghost Deity Holy King all came out. Their cold gazes looked down. Although they didn't attack, their intentions were very clear. This was a threat. Obviously, Peerless City had to be extra careful. These Holy King's figures finally disappeared into the sky. However, everyone's brows were tightly knitted. What was the palace master doing? The people from Immortal Palace were very confused. Lin Xian said, "These are all enemies. Send people to investigate them and keep an eye on their movements." The people from Immortal Palace nodded and began to prepare. Lin Xian said, "Senior brother, let's go into seclusion first. After a year, we can go to the buried Emperor's star." At that time, Even holy kings won't be able to threaten us. Let's hope so. Peerless Holy King nodded and said, You guys have just returned and experienced a series of battles. You should quickly go into seclusion and cultivate. Lin Xian and the others began to cultivate. Peerless Holy King frowned. Although there was only a year's time, would those people really not attack? It seemed like he had to prepare in advance. Lin Xian began to cultivate in seclusion. He used various treasures to recover his exhausted energy and injuries. Then he prepared to come out of seclusion. Although he had obtained many treasures, he had obtained 2 holy king wills. One of them was even cultivated by him. Therefore, he only had 1 holy king wills left. However, he wasn't worried because he had ways to get it. Therefore, he prepared to go out and meet the 9-headed Qilin. The 9-headed Qilin, as the top genius of Demon City, would definitely obtain some holy king wills this time. Therefore, he prepared to collect them. Hearing that Lin Xian was going out, the people from Immortal Palace became nervous. After all, the holy kings had just left. The killing intent had not completely dissipated. Chapter 43:19. Lin Xian said, It was fine, he wasn't too worried. The great sage tower had returned to his hands. Even if he encountered a sage king and couldn't defeat him, he could still escape calmly by hiding in the great sage tower. Lin Xian left the Immortal Palace and returned to this world. He felt everything that was familiar yet unfamiliar. He was deeply moved. Back then, he was known as the Central Emperor here. He and a few others were the top geniuses. He didn't know how many geniuses had appeared in this world after so many years. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. On this day, he arrived at a region. He discovered that there were many people gathered in front of him. Moreover, they were discussing. Clearly, something big had happened. He also walked over. His return didn't cause too much of a commotion. Because so many years had passed, he had probably become a legend. Most of the people who had seen him before had left. Therefore, these rising geniuses really didn't know him. Lin Xian came to the crowd and heard some of the discussions. It turned out that not long ago, a shocking battle had happened here. Someone had defeated the 4 symbols sacred ground saints. It caused an uproar. The 4 symbols sacred ground was an extremely powerful sacred ground that focused on close combat and physical strength, and now it was different from before. The current saints were all top geniuses. Their strength should be at the sacred venerate level. It was really shocking that such a person had been defeated. Lin Xian was also curious. He heard a name called Han Chong. He had never heard of this name before, so he didn't know who the other party was. However, there were geniuses rising every day in the true spirit world, so he wasn't surprised. However, a few days later, Lin Xian heard another piece of news. It turned out that Han Chong was going to continue challenging. This time, he was challenging the 5 elements sacred ground saints. In an instant, countless people exclaimed. Even Lin Xian was surprised. He recalled that when he had become famous all those years ago, he had challenged all the top cultivators in the world. The 5 elements sacred ground was nearby, so Lin Xian was prepared to go and take a look. He soared into the sky. At this moment, the 5 elements sacred ground's expression was solemn. They had some understanding of Han Chong, but what he knew was very limited. He only knew that the other party had defeated the holy sons of 2 holy lands and was extremely powerful. However, they had no idea who the other party was or where he came from. And now, such a mysterious young expert had come to challenge their 5 elements holy land. Would they be able to stop it? Right now, the 5 elements holy son was an extremely dazzling person. He had also reached middle stage holy venerate, and his cultivation was very strong. Furthermore, the power of the 5 elements formed a set of armor that completely enveloped him. His confident gaze was rarely seen. Elders, don't worry. I can handle it. The elders of the 5 elements, Holy Land, also nodded. The 5 elements saint was a genius who had suddenly grown up after the changes in heaven and earth. Moreover, they were very lucky and had consumed heavenly treasures before. Therefore, they were very confident. Under everyone's gazes, the battle had finally arrived. A figure descended from the sky. It was a man in a blue battle robe. He looked very young. However, no one dared to underestimate him at all, because he was Han Chong, who had just risen to prominence recently. On the other side, a group of people walked out from the 5 elements sanctuary. The person in the lead was a man in 5 elements armor. He was the 5 elements saint. His piercing gaze pierced through the void as he looked at the man in the sky. He said coldly, "Are you Han Chong?" "That's right, I am Han Chong." He descended and landed on the ground. He looked at the 5 elements saint. "Today, I challenge you. Show me your strongest technique. Don't disappoint me. You will see," the 5 elements saint said coldly. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palms, and the terrifying 5 elements law gathered in his hands. A 5 elements mountain formed around him. Everyone gasped. The 5 elements saint was indeed extraordinary. That was for sure. Now that he could become a saint, he must be a top-notch genius. Discussions broke out one after another. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as well. The laws of the 5 elements, he knew them as well. He could tell that the other party was indeed very powerful, and his attainments in the 5 elements law were very deep. He didn't know what kind of ultimate technique this Han Chong was using. He was very curious about it. Han Chong felt the 5 elements power between heaven and earth, and it quickly spread out and charged towards him. The corner of his mouth curled up into a smile. "Very good. You are worthy of my attack." In the next moment, he roared, and his gaze pierced through the void like a divine arrow. There was an extremely terrifying power in his body that exploded and swept out in all directions. This power made many people suck in a breath of cold air. The eyes of the 5 elements sanctuary's experts also shrank. He was too powerful. Who was the other party? They were very nervous now. Lin Xian let out a cry of surprise as well. This person was so strong. He was truly stunned. Although the 5 elements saint was powerful, Lin Xian was not concerned. After all, he had fought all the way on the ancient road of the starry sky and returned with a strong momentum. His strength had long surpassed everything. However, the power that exploded from Han Chong's body shocked him. He felt that Han Chong would be able to walk to the end even if he was placed in the Tao debate. Such a person had appeared out of nowhere. Who exactly was he? When the 5 elements saint sensed the terrifying power coming from the other party, he roared furiously. He did not dare to be careless. 5 elements palm. He took out an extremely powerful technique as soon as he attacked. The laws revolved around his fingers as he slapped forward. Ice blade. The laws of ice in Han Chong's hand condensed into a long blue blade, and he slashed it down. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Countless voids were completely shattered by this slash. In the next moment, the two techniques collided. Then, an extremely powerful force exploded. Not good. Run. The surrounding people who were watching the battle frantically retreated because they realized that the arrays that they had set up around them were all shattered. At this moment, many people were sent flying. Lin Xian's figure flickered and retreated into the distance. A golden light appeared in his eyes as he looked forward. His heavenly secret divine eyes saw through everything. Then he revealed a look of surprise. The other people also retreated to the back and watched nervously. How was it? They did not expect the two of them to use such powerful techniques as soon as they came up. The laws in front of them gradually disappeared, and everyone's eyes widened. They were stunned because they saw a figure standing proudly in front of them. It was Han Chong. The five elements saint's armor was already shattered, and one of his arms was hanging down with blood flowing out. It was obvious that the five elements saint had been defeated in the previous attack. It can't be, right? Another holy son has been defeated? The surrounding people were shocked. The people from the five elements sacred land also had ugly expressions. The five elements saint's face was pale. He had not expected that he could not even block a single attack. However, this time, Han Chong did not leave immediately like before. Instead, he continued to look forward. There was an even colder light in his eyes. Chapter 43:20. Why? Do you still want to continue fighting? The people from the five elements, Holy Land, looked extremely cold. The other party was going too far. The surrounding spectators were also in an uproar, because before, Han Chong had defeated two saints and left immediately after the battle. But they didn't expect it to be different this time. They didn't know what the other party was thinking. In the crowd, Lin Xian looked at this scene and was also surprised. That attack just now was so terrifying. Obviously, the other party should have used an extremely powerful divine ability. He was getting more and more interested in this person, and soon he was stunned, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. Han Chong said indifferently, "I heard that two people from the five elements Holy Land came to participate in the Tao discussion. Let them come out. I want to fight with them." What was the Tao discussion of the sage heavens? All the spectators were stunned. They didn't know anything about it. However, Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Others didn't know, but he knew because he came back to participate in the Tao discussion. But it shouldn't be. This news should only be known by a small number of people. How did the other party know? And was there anyone in the five elements Holy Land? The people from the five elements Holy Land were also cold. Indeed, two people had come recently. They were experts from the distant starry sky, and they didn't dare to be negligent. They just didn't expect that Han Chong would want to see these two people now. Just as they were thinking, two figures walked out from the five elements Holy Land. They were an old man and a young man. As soon as they came out, they attracted the attention of countless people. Who were these two people? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It was them. These two people from the Seven Stars Tower had successfully passed the third round of the assessment. He didn't expect these two people to be in the five elements Holy Land, but after thinking about it, he understood. Those who could come to the Tao discussion were the top geniuses and experts of the second astral realm. Such people would definitely visit these Holy Land one by one. After all, Planet Xuan was one of the two most important stars in the starry sky. These people wouldn't miss it. In fact, he was thinking about the same thing. After the two people came out, they asked, "Are you looking for us?" They stared at Han Chong and frowned. They had also been watching the battle earlier, but they had been hiding in the shadows. They hadn't expected Han Chong to be so powerful. Moreover, after he won, he would challenge them. "That's right, I'm looking for you. Come over here." Han Chong's gaze became piercingly cold once again, and an endless amount of ice appeared around him. Everyone felt as if their bodies were about to be frozen. What a terrifying power of ice. The old man from the seven-star tower was stunned. Then he looked at the person beside him. "Xinghe, go and fight with him." Xinghe nodded and walked forward. He was someone who had participated in the Tao discussion of the holy heavens and had successfully made it to the third stage. His strength was definitely beyond everyone's imagination. Sure enough, the surrounding spectators were still wondering who the other party was. However, when they sensed the terrifying aura emitted from Xinghe's body, they all cried out in alarm. So strong. This person's aura was even stronger than the five elements saints. Just who was he? Han Chong's lips curled up in a smile. Now That's interesting. I hope you won't disappoint me. Then he used the ice blade again. With one slash, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The shattered area was instantly frozen. The surrounding spectators cried out in alarm once again. This move had defeated the Five Elements Saint previously. When the Five Elements Saint saw this move again, his face turned cold. Would Xing'e be able to block it? That was everyone's doubt. Lin Xian's eyes also emitted a piercingly cold radiance. When Xing'e saw this, he formed a seal with his palms. 7 stars appeared on his body, forming a set of starry battle armor. Then a starry sky map formed in his palms, and he slapped it forward. An incomparably vast power spread out in all directions. This attack was even more powerful than the Five Elements palm print from before. In fact, it was not weaker than the ice blade. Sure enough, when the two superpowers collided, they both disappeared. He had actually blocked Han Chang's attack. He was really too strong. The surrounding spectators were stunned. Then they became excited. They thought that this would be a fierce battle. Xing'e also heaved a sigh of relief after blocking the other party's attack. It seemed that the other party was not undefeatable. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a confident smile. His body swayed, and he quickly charged out. A 7-star sword appeared in his hand. This was not a sacred weapon, but a superpower. It was the 7 Stars Tower's ultimate superpower. The sword light, formed by the power of the stars, was so powerful that it carried the power of the universe. When the sword slashed out, it was as if the universe had fallen directly. Countless people exclaimed in surprise. This sword was so powerful. Facing such a terrifying attack, Han Chong did not move at all. It seemed that he had no intention of dodging. Everyone was shocked. Was he going to take it head on? They wondered what kind of superpower it was, because all along, Han Chong had only used the ice blade to end the battle. Now, it seemed that the other party had used another ultimate skill. Sure enough, the other party formed a seal with his palms, and a low voice sounded between heaven and earth. Chilly winter. Thousand snowfall. As soon as this voice sounded, the terrifying power of ice and snow quickly spread out. Everyone felt that they were frozen again. This 1,000 snowfall directly swept out in all directions. The entire world was completely frozen. Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. They could only pray that this battle would end quickly. So powerful. Lin Xian was shocked. He also felt the power of the ice and snow. He also could not believe it. This ice and snow was a threat to his divine body. The light on his body bloomed and blocked the ice. At the same time, he looked in front of him. In the next moment, he was stunned again. Not long after, the ice and snow in the sky disappeared. At the same time, 2 figures appeared. Han Chong was still standing there with his hands behind his back. On the other hand, Xing'e's face was pale. The 7 stars sword that he had formed had disappeared. Not only that, but a layer of frost had also appeared on his body. It was obvious that he was at a disadvantage in the previous attack. Xing'e raised his head with difficulty, and his face became serious. He said, "You won this battle." As soon as this was said, the surrounding people were shocked. Could it be? Now, they could see that he was more powerful than the 5 Elements Saint. Moreover, he could survive in the 1,000 snowfall. Although his face was pale, it seemed that he was not seriously injured. Such a person could definitely continue to fight. But why did he admit defeat directly? One should know that the more powerful a genius was, the more difficult it was for him to admit defeat. For a moment, everyone was discussing. Chapter 43:21. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he watched. The others might not know, but he could see. With his eye technique, He could see that there was a layer of frost on the other party's body. It should be an internal injury. Han Chong's law of ice was really powerful. Han Chong retracted the law of ice. Then he muttered to himself, "Who should I look for next?" It seemed like the participants of the Tao discussion weren't that great. The others were shocked. He was too arrogant. He didn't even put the geniuses of the world in his eyes. However, the other party was really strong. Ordinary Chosen would find it hard to suppress him. Who else could it be? The people started to discuss. Xinghe's face turned ugly. He was also a top-notch genius, but he was being looked down upon at this moment. Don't be arrogant. I'm not the strongest in the Tao discussion. There are some who can definitely defeat you. Oh, is that so? Han Chong turned around and asked, "Who do you think they are?" The others were also stunned. They were also very curious. There are too many. I'll just say two young ones. Gu Feng from the Gu family is an emperor clan. He's an expert with the law of space. Can you fight against him? The Gu family. When these words were spoken, the surrounding people also cried out in alarm. They also knew that this was an emperor clan. The other party's law of space was really mysterious. The Gu family? Han Chong narrowed his eyes. Then he asked again, "Who was the second person?" Xinghe gritted his teeth and said, "The second person was called Lin Wudi. He was even stronger." "Lin Wudi? Who is this person?" Countless people exclaimed. "Is he stronger than the Gu family?" He dared to use the word Wudi as a title. Isn't he too arrogant? Han Chong also frowned. Lin Wudi was really arrogant. Where is the person you're talking about? I'm very interested in him. How would I know? But he's definitely in this world. Whether you can find him or not depends on your luck. However, I advise you not to look for him because you'll lose miserably. You don't have to worry about that. After saying that, Han Chong turned into a ray of light and disappeared from the world. Did he leave? The surrounding people exclaimed. They didn't know who he was going to challenge next. I'm guessing that he'll be able to sweep his way through. Those holy sons of the Holy Lands will probably have to accept his challenge. That's right. I wonder what happened to the two people he mentioned, and whether they can be found. When Xinghe heard these words, he shook his head. He did not expect that there would be such a mysterious expert. He prepared to return and recuperate. This was because he had indeed suffered internal injuries. But at this moment, he was taken aback because he saw a figure disappear from the crowd as well. It's him. Xinghe was really shocked. Although he only saw the back of the person, Xinghe recognized who it was. Lin Wudi was here as well. Was the other party really here to watch the battle? He wondered if Lin Wudi would do anything to Han Chong. Lin Xian had no intention of attacking Han Chong. The most important thing now was to find the 9 Qilins. Finally, they arrived at the agreed-upon location. The 9-headed Qilin also came and took out a treasure box. There were 3 pills inside, and the Saint King had one. Very good. Lin Xian satisfactorily accepted it and said, "You can go back for now. If there's anything else, I'll tell you." Yes, the 9-headed Qilin respectfully left. Lin Xian was very happy, including the one in his hand. He now had 4 Saint King wills. After giving one to Samsara Protector, he could go to the buried Emperor's Star. As for the remaining ones, he could cultivate and absorb them himself. He was not in a hurry to go back. He prepared to go to the Jade Lake. The Jade Lake was very lively at this moment. After all, the people of the Kunlun Pavilion were here. Lin Xian's arrival made Morong Qingcheng very happy. The people of the Jade Lake also came out to welcome him. They knew that this was the palace master of the Immortal Palace, the peerless genius of the Central Emperor's Star. Lin Xian greeted the elders of the Kunlun Pavilion and then left with Morong Qingcheng. They were taking a stroll near the Jade Lake. Lin Xian asked, "Did the Jade Lake face any challenges recently?" Morong Qingcheng shook his head. Then he was surprised. Lin Xian said, "When I came, I saw a mysterious expert who continuously challenged the Holy Lands and was very strong. Often he could defeat a saint in one move. The saint, a young genius from the Seven-Star Tower, had been injured by the other party in 2 moves. Is he so powerful? Murong Qingcheng was also surprised. Do you know where he came from? Is he a new rising star in the true spirit world? I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it. Lin Xian said that he knew about the Holy Heavens Tao debate. If he comes to challenge the Jade Lake, tell the people of the Jade Lake to be careful. Murong Qingcheng nodded. I know. I'll send someone to investigate. Soon someone sent news. Indeed, there was a person called Han Chong who rarely came to the Jade Lake. However, he had not challenged the Jade Lake yet. Who was this person? Murong Qingcheng decided to ask. He brought Lin Xian to see the Jade Lake Sacred Master. The Jade Lake Sacred Master was a middle-aged woman. After the great changes in the world, her strength had also broken through to the Sage Realm. Moreover, some of the Jade Lake's foundations and living fossils had also started to awaken. It could be said that their foundations were very strong. When Murong Qingcheng asked, the Jade Lake Sacred Master's eyes flickered. She said, We've also heard about this matter. I've analyzed it with the other Grand Elders, and we think that he might be from a place. Where? Lin Xian was also surprised. Could he be from the second astral realm? The second astral realm was incomparably vast. There might be some hidden geniuses who did not participate in the Tao debate and came here instead. However, the Jade Lake Sacred Master shook her head. Lin Gongzi is not from the second astral realm. We think that he might be from the heavenly abode. Heavenly abode. Murong Qingcheng frowned, but Lin Xian's pupils shrank. This was not the first time he had heard of this name. He had met the people from the heavenly abode before. They were very arrogant. However, their strength and abilities were very strong. Lin Xian had been very curious about the heavenly abode. Now, he had met the people from the heavenly abode again. He hurriedly asked, Senior, what is the origin of this heavenly abode? Which starry sky is it in? The Jade Lake Sacred Master said that the heavenly abode was in the buried Emperor's star. He should be someone from the hidden Emperor's star. What? The buried Emperor's star? Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng sucked in a breath of cold air. That was their ultimate goal. They had not expected that someone from that world would come here directly. No wonder this guy was so strong. If he came from the buried Emperor's star, then it could be explained. Because there were 2 special stars in the universe. Besides their primordial star, there was the buried Emperor's star. Primordial star was still recovering. As for the buried Emperor's star, it was most likely a holy land for martial cultivators. The strength of that place was definitely unimaginable. However, what surprised Lin Xian was that the people from the buried Emperor's star could come here so easily. Chapter 43:22. The Jade Lake Sacred Master said, This matter was a little complicated. I'll simply say that the primordial star and the buried Emperor's star used to be the same world in the ancient era. However, they were later separated into 2 worlds. Thus, the connection between the 2 is not something that ordinary people can think of. The moment these words came out, Lin Xian was astonished as well. So, it was a world. The Jade Lake Sacred Leader nodded. You'll go to the buried Emperor's star in a year. At that time, you'll know that the sacred grounds and sects here also exist in the buried Emperor's star. It could even be said that they were of the same origin. However, due to certain reasons, they couldn't easily go to the buried Emperor's star. Of course, it would be easier for people to go to the buried Emperor's star. However, it was only relatively easy. It was impossible for just anyone to go there. They would have to pay a certain price. However, every time the sacred heavens discussed the Tao, the buried Emperor's star, would send some disciples of the paradise over to gain experience. This Han Chong should be one of the people who came over to gain experience. Apart from him, there might be other people. Lin Xian took a deep breath. So that's how it was. He then asked, have those people who went to the buried Emperor's star returned? Have those sacred kings gone there? The Jade Lake sacred leader said that some sacred kings had gone there. Of course, there were also some who hadn't. Furthermore, the majority of those who had gone to the buried Emperor's star had not returned. Only a small portion of them were willing to return. Actually, Lin Xian understood this point. The buried Emperor's star was a place where the martial Tao was even more terrifying. Perhaps if they stayed there, they would be able to walk further on the martial Tao. Thus, those people had all chosen to stay there. Following this, Lin Xian asked a few more questions before leaving. He and Murong Qingcheng left the main hall and walked outside. However, at this moment, a change occurred. The void suddenly split open, and a terrifying killing intent swept out in all directions. Sensing this aura, Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng's expressions changed. What a terrifying killing intent. Was the mortal world's killing sage here again? Damn it, the other party actually dared to make a move here? Lin Xian roared. His 9-yang divine body shone brightly, forming a golden giant that enveloped him and Murong Qingcheng. With a clang, the terrifying precepts bombarded the golden giant, emitting an earth-shattering sound. What was shocking was that this sword strike actually pierced through the golden giant. How terrifying! The killer saint sent this time was even scarier. Damn it, Lin Xian was furious. Were these people still not giving up? To think that they would chase him all the way here. He punched out, causing the sky and earth in front of him to shatter. However, that figure was extremely terrifying. It flew out from another space and then saw the black hand and grabbed it. That hand was extremely terrifying. In the center of his palm, there was a black rune that looked like a black hole. It was emitting an extremely cold and gloomy energy. Lin Xian coldly snorted and used the law of death to resist. On the other side, Murong Qingcheng was also under attack. A killer sword pierced towards her glabella. An illusion of Kunlun Mountain appeared on her body and directly flew out. The killer sword was repelled. On the other side, Lin Xian also repelled the enemy. His eyes were emitting a cold light. In the sky, the heavenly secret divine eyes appeared and looked down. Qingcheng, he's behind you, Lin Xian reminded. Murong Qingcheng flipped her hand and used Kunlun slash. The void shattered, and a figure instantly disappeared like lightning. Humph! How dare you come and kill us now? You really overestimate yourself. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with a cold killing intent. 10 precepts appeared around him, forming the 10 ultimate swords formation. It seemed that he was about to explode. On the other side, Murong Qingcheng also formed Kunlun Mountain and swept in all directions. However, at this moment, 2 figures appeared between heaven and earth. The 2 of them were expressionless, but a hint of determination appeared in their eyes. They took out 2 killer swords and drew extremely terrifying patterns on them. Then they bloomed with incomparable light. Oh no, these are forbidden weapons. Lin Xian was shocked. Did these 2 guys not want to live anymore? The 2 forbidden weapons exploded between heaven and earth. The 2 of them were instantly torn into pieces and turned into a bloody mist. Under this power, nothing could withstand it. With a loud boom, the terrifying power enveloped Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng. This power was naturally shocking. The people in the distance, the people from Jade Lake, instantly flew back. However, they did not dare to get close. Damn it, what's going on? Why is there a battle here? The people from Kunlun Pavilion also came out and frowned. The Jade Lake sacred leader came out personally and looked in all directions. This killing intent was clearly that of a frightening killing saint. The people from Kunlun Pavilion narrowed their eyes. The Kunlun sacred leader said, "Will Qingqing be in danger?" This was the power of a forbidden weapon. Oh no! The two sage kings attacked and directly tore through the void, sending the power into the spatial crack. In the next moment, they saw a pagoda floating in front of them, blocking everything. The pagoda disappeared and Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing appeared. Their faces were cold and gloomy. If not for the great sage pagoda, they would be in real danger now. The power of a forbidden weapon was not inferior to a sage king's attack. At this moment, a sickle flew out from the void and directly split heaven and earth. Then the two of them fell to the ground. They were split in half, and their blood stained the ground. Lin Xian frowned. There was someone else? These two people also had forbidden weapons on them. Moreover, a strange rune flashed between their eyebrows and hid all of their aura. Even Lin Xian hadn't been able to detect it. He felt a lingering fear. Who was the one who did it? He turned his head to look. An old man appeared in the sky. He was dressed in cotton clothes and held a sickle in his hand. The sickle was covered in rust. It was like a sickle used to farm in the fields. It was too ordinary, but its attack was earth-shattering. Who was this old man? Lin Xian was shocked. The Jade Lake Sacred Master and the Kunlun Sacred King also looked over. Then the two said, "Many thanks for helping." The gray-robed old man in the sky did not say anything. He even instantly disappeared. Lin Xian also looked at the sky and cupped his fists in thanks, thanking Senior for helping. Then he asked, "Senior Kunlun, who is this?" "The deity Dao Union." The Kunlun Sacred King said sullenly. When Lin Xian heard this, he was shocked as well. People from the deity Dao Union? They had actually come here as well? Lin Xian felt danger. As the sage heavenly Dao debate started, people from the mortal realm appeared one after another. Even the deity Dao Union appeared. The Kunlun Sacred King said that the deity Dao Union was an extremely mysterious existence. They would protect some of the peak outstanding talents from being assassinated by the people of the mortal realm. At the same time, they would do their best to eliminate these killing sages in the mortal realm. Without the deity Dao Union, the number of geniuses that died would be several times higher. Chapter 43:23. Naturally, Lin Xian understood this point. Without the deity Dao Union, he would probably have been killed already, right? Murong Qingqing's expression turned cold as well. What kind of existence is this mortal realm? Could it be that they are spread throughout the 10,000 realms? Qingqing, you are right. They are indeed spread throughout the 10,000 realms. Furthermore, they specifically seek out absolute geniuses, especially those who will break through and become sage kings. People who will break through and become sage kings. Murong Qingqing sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Xian also frowned. Why is it like this? The Jade Lake Sacred Master said that it was already pretty good for an ordinary world to have a sage. Even in the current two astral realms, when the sage heavens discussed the Tao, the strongest was only a sage king. People above the Saint King realm would not appear. Lin Xian understood this point. Indeed, he had not seen many people above Sage King. However, Black Mountain was the remnant soul of a great sage and could not be considered a true great sage. Hence, the birth of a new Sage King was a huge matter for these astral realms. Hence, some people did not wish for a new Sage King to appear. Or rather, they only wished for a Sage King to appear on their side. It would be best if there were no Sage Kings for others. When Lin Xian heard this, he frowned. It looks like the mortal realm is actually planning something shocking. The Kunlun Holy King also said, "Indeed, we have investigated it before. However, after so many years, we have not been able to find out where the mortal realm is. What members do they have? However, based on our analysis, the mortal realm is not a fixed world. Even their members have many identities. Perhaps the people around you could also be people of this world. As long as you wear the mask of the Sage Killer, you'll be able to do so. The mortal realm is indeed mysterious. This way, we will not know who joined the mortal realm. Perhaps this is why the mortal realm can exist for so many years without being destroyed. The Kunlun Holy Master said, "You should be targeted. Do you want to send some people to protect you?" Lin Xian said, "Many thanks, Senior. There is no need. These assassins are just rats in the dark. They are not worth mentioning." Following this, Lin Xian prepared to return. After bidding farewell to Murong Qingcheng and the others, he soared into the sky and left the Jade Lake. Then he flew all the way. His speed was extremely fast. However, 2 days later, he still frowned. Through the heavenly fortune god eyes, he could feel a vague aura locking onto him. Needless to say, they should be people from the human world. Earlier, the deity Dao Union had already come out. Yet the other party was still so reckless, daring to come and kill him. Furthermore, from the looks of it, this person should be a late-stage holy venerate. Come to think of it, he must be very powerful. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. Since they wanted to kill him, he wouldn't hold back. Lin Xian slowed down and descended. It seemed like he wanted to rest. He pretended to let his guard down and waited for his opponent to make a move. Sure enough, a terrifying bolt of lightning descended from the sky. The other party attacked him. However, Lin Xian had long since been prepared for this, and he instantly dodged. At the same time, he activated his heavenly fate divine eyes. With a clang, a jade pendant in the air shattered into pieces. This assassin revealed a cold smile. He had long known that Lin Xian's soul was strong, so he had been defending. Indeed, the soul-protecting medallion that the assassin took out shattered. However, so what? The assassin believed that he could destroy the other party in one move. In the next moment, the assassin raised the saber in his hand. However, at this moment, Lin Xian took out a leaf and waved it gently. Immediately, the surroundings changed drastically. What's going on? The expression of this late-stage holy venerate assassin changed. The assassin felt an intense suppression on his soul. Damn it, am I still caught in an illusion? How can this be? Didn't I already block the other party's eye technique? Lin Xian smiled coldly. Do you think that it is easy for you to kill me? Today, I will let you know what despair is. Oh no! This old man felt his hair stand on end. His figure flashed as he quickly retreated. At the same time, the assassin swung the saber in his hand, trying to flee. However, this was an illusion world. Where could the other party flee to? It was useless. Lin Xian formed hand seals, and a terrifying force sent the other party flying. In this place, I am the ruler. You cannot resist. Kneel down. With this command, that old man felt a pair of large hands pressing down on him from the air. He could not resist at all. Damn it, I was too careless. The assassin had not expected the other party to be so strong. Lin Xian landed, and a smile appeared on his face. I'll give you a choice. Tell me the secret of your mortal world, and I'll give you a quick death. Brat, it's useless. You can forget about getting any information from me here. That old man smiled coldly. Just wait. The mortal world will be your nightmare for life. You will fall one day. After saying that, the old man looked up and laughed coldly. Lin Xian's expression sank. It looks like you are really reckless. Xiao Chen formed a hand seal, and all sorts of terrifying soul attacks immediately charged over. That old man roared endlessly. Do you think that I can't do anything if you don't tell me? Lin Xian's gaze was cold as it enveloped the other party. Collecting information from souls was not a difficult task for him. However, that old man roared at the sky. Lin Xian frowned. In the next moment, he put away the illusion leaf and retreated into the distance. That old man's body suddenly split open, and an extremely terrifying destructive force swept out in all directions. There was no difference between this power and using a forbidden weapon. When the energy disappeared, Lin Xian landed on the ground again. He looked around and found that there was nothing left. Xiao Chen snorted coldly. Just now, it was not the other party who used a forbidden weapon, but he probed into the other party's soul to find out the secret. In the end, he found that there was a seal in the other party's soul. It should be the seal left behind by the even more terrifying sage ruler in the mortal world. It sealed all the secrets of the mortal world. Lin Xian forcefully probed, which was why the energy just now happened. There were indeed many tricks in the mortal world. Lin Xian snorted coldly. It seemed that it was impossible to figure out the identity of these people. His figure flickered and he was ready to leave. In the next moment, his body trembled because he felt that there was some poison in his body that seemed to be sealing his power. Was he poisoned? When? Lin Xian was shocked. In the next moment, he hurriedly activated the great dragon Sword Soul. At the same time, a golden light appeared in his eyes and swept in all directions. Sure enough, he saw 5 more figures walking towards them. Lin Wuyi was indeed strong. No wonder he could kill so many of them. However, no matter how strong you are, you will definitely die today. Let's see how you can escape after being poisoned by me. A figure appeared. He was also wearing a cold mask, and it was impossible to tell who he was. However, his voice was filled with an endless chill. Chapter 43:24. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. He had to admit that the poison used by the other party was very terrifying. Those below the sage ruler level could not withstand it at all. However, he was an exception. The great dragon sword soul had already annihilated everything inside. Therefore, he was completely fine now. However, he did not attack immediately. Instead, he pretended to be injured and poisoned and said, "Damn it, when did you poison me?" "Fine, I'll let you die quickly." The black-robed man sneered. "When the energy exploded just now, we already poisoned you, so you won't be far from death." Hearing this, Lin Xian was also surprised. He really did not notice that at that time, he was only focused on avoiding the energy. Who would have thought that there was poison in the air? There were indeed many tricks in the human world. If it were another late-stage sage venerable, they would have probably gone to hell by now. "All right, kid, you've said so much. It's time to send you on your way." The black-robed man pulled out his long sword and walked over. There was a biting, cold, murderous intent in his eyes. In the next moment, he suddenly slashed out with his sword. Suddenly, a sharp, murderous intent appeared between heaven and earth and slashed fiercely toward Lin Xian. Facing such a terrifying attack, the poisoned person could not dodge at all. However, Lin Xian abruptly lifted his head as the corners of his mouth curled into a cold smile. In the next moment, he formed a hand seal and slapped out with the man-ruler seal. Boom! An earth-shattering sound was heard, and the black-robed man was directly sent flying. His body was torn into pieces, and his eyes were wide open. How was that possible? His face was full of disbelief. Did the other party have such powerful strength? Could it be that the other party was not poisoned? Damn it! The 4 around him were also stunned. What was going on? They looked at each other. Lin Xian stood up. "You're the ones who should go to hell." He waved his hand and slapped out another man-ruler seal, directly killing the black-robed man. Boom! The black-robed man did not even have time to make a sound before his astral soul was destroyed. When the four sage killers saw this scene, their faces turned cold. However, they did not dodge. Instead, they shouted angrily and charged over. Spirit extermination array. The four of them formed a formation. With a violent and destructive power, they rushed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a stomp of his foot, he charged out like a god of war. When the attacks landed on his body, they produced thunderous sounds. However, it was unable to break through his defense. He came to the front and slammed out his man-ruler's seal once again. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. Four people were blasted back, and one of them was directly blasted apart. Lin Xian used the 10 absolute swords and slashed out. The other person was cleaved in half, and blood filled the sky. At this moment, Lin Xian was like the god of death, extremely powerful. The faces of the few people around him turned extremely ugly. Damn it, how could his opponent be so strong? Use poison. One of them roared and immediately took out a black bottle. Terrifying poisonous gas flew out from it. This poisonous gas was transparent. It could not be seen at all. In fact, it could not even be sensed. Previously, it was because of this that Lin Xian was poisoned. However, he was already prepared for it. Dragon-shaped sword qi revolved around his body, forming an armor-like defense that blocked all the poison. As for Lin Xian, he swung the tiger demon fist, army destroyer. With a punch, he could wipe out 1,000 soldiers. Of the four sage killers, 2 were instantly killed. The other 2 were also in a very sorry state. Run. They knew that their opponent was too strong. With such terrifying poison, a late-stage Holy Venerate would not be able to resist it. However, nothing happened to their opponent. This made them realize that it was impossible to kill him today. Therefore, the 2 of them quickly fled. You want to leave now? Lin Xian sneered. With a wave of his hand, 2 lightning dragons flew out. They extended for hundreds of thousands of miles and directly covered a part of the sky. Damn it, one of them took out a forbidden artifact and directly tore it apart. Terrifying energy rumbled and swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's figure flashed and he disappeared. He used the void escape technique. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the 2 people. He swung the 10 absolute swords, and the 2 heads flew up. Damn it! The souls of those 2 assassins flew out, burning continuously. Brat, let's die together. Evil spirit song. The 2 people's souls roared in different directions in the sky, turning into a strange sound. Space and time tore apart. The black great Tao danced around like musical notes. Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. He quickly retreated, his complexion even paling. His soul was suppressed. In the next moment, Lin Xian snorted coldly and activated his heavenly secret divine eye. His heavenly secret divine soul clashed with those black talisman scripts, creating extremely terrifying cracks. How terrifying! These people actually grasped such a magic skill? Lin Xian's expression turned cold. He could tell that this was a magic skill that would cause mutual destruction. It used one's own soul as the price to form an extremely terrifying sound of destruction. This way, the people who were killed would not be able to revive themselves. In fact, they would disappear into thin air and would not even be able to enter the cycle of reincarnation. These people in the human world were really ruthless. Lin Xian snorted coldly. These people had used special methods, so he would not hold back. In an instant, he took out the great spear of destruction, and the demonic qi on it erupted. It swept across the area. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into a peerless demon god. With a single strike, the sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Oh no, it's the weapon of a saint king. The souls of those two people were already very weak at this moment. Seeing this scene, a cold, murderous intent appeared in their eyes. Then, the remaining souls completely dissipated between heaven and earth. It formed a black bell that kept ringing. It flew down and collided with the great spear of destruction. It destroyed everything. Lin Xian roared and attacked with all his might. In the end, he shattered the black bell. However, Lin Xian was also affected. Even though his soul was powerful, such an extremely terrifying method still injured him. He spat out a mouthful of blood. His expression was extremely cold as he looked around. When he realized that there was no one around, he left. When he returned to the Immortal Palace, the people of the Immortal Palace exclaimed, "Palace Master, are you injured?" They were really shocked. Who was it? Their eyes shone with a piercing light. "It's fine. It's just some assassins. I've already taken care of them. Prepare a secret chamber for me. I'm going into seclusion." After Lin Xian entered the secret chamber, he sat down and began to heal his injuries. After he was done, Peacock walked up and said, "Palace Master, the old Palace Master is looking for you." After hearing this, Lin Xian let out a look of surprise. The old Palace Master? That was Xia Zhuyo. Was he already back? One must know that Lin Xian knew that this old man's strength was extremely terrifying. It was at an unimaginable level. Therefore, he hurriedly let Peacock lead the way. Chapter 43:25. The place where the Immortal Palace was located was very big and boundless. They passed through countless palaces. After crossing mountains and rivers, they finally arrived at a quiet valley. There was an old man inside. He was pruning some spirit fruits. At this moment, he sensed that someone had arrived and turned his head. Lin Xian and Peacock stopped outside the valley. Peacock said, "Palace Master, the old Palace Master is inside. I'll be outside. If you need anything, just call me." After saying that, he stood to the side. Lin Xian nodded and walked in. In the valley, Xia Zhuyo smiled and said, "You're here." Lin Xian looked at him and discovered that he was even older than before. He asked, "Old Xia, is your body okay?" "Don't worry, I'm old and not as strong as before. However, I won't die for a while." Xia Zhuyo smiled and said, "I heard that you had a big battle with someone." Lin Xian nodded and said, "The people of the human realm are haunting me and have been trying to assassinate me." Hearing that, Xia Zhuyo's eyes flickered, and he said, "Be careful, be careful. The human realm has been very active recently. Moreover, I'm guessing that before the buried Emperor star opens, before the opening time, they should be doing something even bigger. Perhaps they're targeting you." "Old Xia, do you know what secrets there are in the human realm?" Lin Xian felt that the old man in front of him should know. However, Xia Zhuyo sighed. "I do know a little, but I can't tell you. I can only say that you have to be careful. There are some things that you'll know when you reach the buried Emperor star." "All right." Lin Xian nodded. Xia Zhuyo said, "Right? I heard that you've been abandoned by the Immortals." Lin Xian nodded again. "Yes, I'm abandoned by the Immortals, but I still control the Immortal Palace. It's really ironic," Xia Zhuyo said. "Actually, the situation isn't like what you think. The reason why the Immortal Palace is called Immortal Palace is because it was decided back then, and I've been using it all these years. However, I feel that it's time to change it. Why don't we change it to Divine Palace?" Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. Change the name, Immortal Palace, Divine Palace. Although there was only a difference of one word, the meaning behind it was extraordinary. For example, he was a person who had been abandoned by immortals, but there were Taoists who were helping him. This matter is settled. Announce it when you go out. From now on, you are the temple master of the temple. Lin Xian then asked about his father, Lin Zhan, and Lord Jiu. In the end, he found out that these people had already left for the buried Emperor Star. Even Xia Jiu would be going there in the future. After chatting for about half a day, Lin Xian left. He could sense that Xia Jiu's condition wasn't very good. Clearly, he had expended quite a bit of energy earlier. 3 days later, Lin Xian received a message. The valley that Xia Jiu was in required a large amount of top-grade divine crystals. It seemed like this old senior wanted to use the divine crystal to seal him. Could it be that it had already reached such a stage? Lin Xian was also nervous. She was going to handle this matter personally. Xia Jiu said, "Don't worry, little guy. I can still hold on. However, I do need to sleep for a period of time. These divine crystals are enough for me." The boundless divine crystals were like ice and snow, sealing his body. They provided him with a large amount of vitality and power. Lin Xian took out 2 interspatial rings. Inside them were the spirit fruits he had obtained in the ancient battlefield. These spirit fruits had matured for who knew how many tens of thousands of years. They also contained a large amount of vitality. Thus, he left them behind for Xia Jiu. Then he left the valley. He returned to the Dao Immortal Palace and announced that the Dao Immortal Palace had become a temple master. In an instant, countless people were in an uproar. When the Jade Lake's sacred master and the others heard this, their eyes flickered. In the following period of time, it was even more restless. There were a few rising geniuses who swept through the 4 directions, challenging the experts and saints of various places. In an instant, the world was shocked. At the same time, several experts from the various sacred lands came to pay a visit. These new rising geniuses should have come from the buried Emperor Star to gain experience. As for the people who came to pay a visit, they should be the sacred kings and sacred sovereigns who had come from the second astral realm to participate in the Tao debate. However, on this day, there was a shocking piece of news. It turned out that a great battle had occurred in the eastern wilderness, and it had alarmed everyone. This was because this was a great battle between sacred kings. Saint kings were existences that currently stood at the peak. No one could be stronger than a saint king. Thus, a battle between sacred kings naturally alarmed countless people. However, a battle of this level was too powerful. The 2 people's attacks had shattered countless mountains and rivers. Thus, the 2 people had come to the starry sky to fight. The others couldn't see it clearly at all. They could only feel the powerful energy coming from the 9 heavens. At this moment, countless sacred lands were incomparably shocked. Was this the aura of a sacred king? They sucked in a cold breath. Although the true spirit world was rapidly recovering, everyone's strength had increased greatly. Many people had even broken through to become saints. However, not every sacred land had a sacred king. Only a few sacred lands and monarch clans that had been passed down from the ancient era existed. These saint kings were also sealed from the divine crystals. Thus, under normal circumstances, they wouldn't consume their energy. Thus, they didn't participate in this battle. Instead, they just watched. Lin Xian was cultivating in the Immortal Palace. On this day, Peacock walked over quickly. He knelt on one knee and said, "Palace Master, something bad has happened." Lin Xian opened his eyes and asked, "What's wrong?" Peacock said that he had received news that a great battle between sacred kings had broken out in the eastern wilderness. The 2 sides were Peerless Sacred King and Silver Corpse Sacred King. What? Lin Xian stood up abruptly. Senior brother and the Acheron Hall had started a battle? His expression became extremely ugly, because he knew that the Acheron Hall was despicable and shameless. Since they had started a battle, it couldn't be just Silver Corpse Sacred King. Would the others make a move as well? His expression became incomparably cold. "Go. Prepare the spatial array. We're going to be teleported directly to the eastern wilderness. Peacock hurriedly got to work. On the other hand, Lin Xian informed Linghu Chueshue, Fu Hongya, and the others. These people gathered together and asked, "Young Uncle Master, what happened?" Lin Xian said that Senior Brother and Silver Corpse Sacred King had a great battle in the eastern wilderness. "I'm worried that the situation has changed. I'll go and take a look. You all should stay here." "No, we're going," Linghu Chueshue said. The others also nodded. How could they stay here when something like this happened? Xian frowned. He said that a great battle between sacred kings would be very dangerous. "I'm afraid that you all will be affected." Linghu said, "Young Uncle Master, don't worry. They usually don't attack young people. The previous time they attacked you was a sneak attack. As for the others, they didn't know. This time, so many sacred kings had descended to this world. They didn't have the guts to do so." Chapter 43:26. Fu Hongya agreed. Indeed, if a sage king disobeyed the rules, he would be opposed by all the other sage cities. After all, every sage city had a large number of disciples. If a sage king attacked these juniors, the sage city would probably cease to exist. "All right." Lin Xian nodded. "Follow me to the teleportation array." They were teleported to the eastern wilderness. After arriving at the eastern wilderness, they could feel that the entire eastern wilderness was enveloped by a powerful energy. It came from the 9 heavens. Clearly, the two sides were fighting in the starry sky. They could feel the terrifying aura in the sky. Lin Xian and the others' faces were unusually cold. Had the battle already begun? They looked up and saw that the sky of the eastern wilderness was covered by the yellow spring. On the other side, there was endless sword chi. Was this the attack of a sage king? It was too powerful. Lin Xian and the others were shocked. Even if they were standing on the ground, they could not get closer. It seemed that they could only watch the battle from here. Lin Xian unleashed the heavenly secret god eyes, forming a terrifying gaze of a heavenly god that could see through everything. He projected what he saw into the void in front of him for everyone to see. Lin Xian was very shocked. A battle between sage kings was too terrifying. Sage King Silver Corpse activated the yellow spring gourd and shot out a beam of light with a terrifying sound. A destructive energy burst out and swept out in all directions. The starry sky outside the region was instantly shattered, and endless cracks appeared. Even the nearby stars were shattered. Sage King Wushuang waved the unparalleled sword and shot out a shocking sword chi. It was as if there were worlds pressing down, colliding with the yellow spring Tao diagram. Every strike could destroy a world. Lin Xian also had a Sage King weapon, and he had fought with those young people before. It was a battle between Sage King weapons. However, compared to a Sage King's battle, they were pitifully weak. Such weapons could only be unleashed in the hands of a true Sage King. Both sides fought fiercely. At this moment, endless black runes appeared on Sage King Wushuang's body and swept out in all directions, devouring everything. The yellow spring Tao diagram was swallowed up. Another piercing sword light flew over. Linghu Chueshue and the others cried out in surprise. Were they going to win? However, at that moment, a long saber descended from the sky and smashed the sword apart. As a result, the sword slashed down into the void and split a star in half. Desolate blade was from the great desolate mansion. Shangguan Shaoxian exclaimed. Lin Xian's face darkened. It seemed like Saint King Huang Tian had made his move. Damn it! Linghu Chueshue and the others shouted angrily. However, it was useless. The Saint Kings fighting in the outer realm couldn't hear them. Even if they did, the Silver Corpse Saint King wouldn't care. I didn't expect you to be so powerful to be able to suppress the Yellow Springs Tao diagram. But now that there are two of us, do you think you can still survive? The flat silver corpse Saint King smiled coldly. On the other side, desolate heaven Saint King walked over and blocked peerless Saint King's path. Today is the day you die. The desolate blade in his hand exploded with an incomparably terrifying aura. Just the two of you? He was overestimating himself. Peerless Saint King roared into the sky. The devouring law on his body exploded once again, and a terrifying black vortex swirled towards the silver corpse Saint King. At the same time, he slashed his sword towards desolate heaven Saint King. It seemed like peerless Saint King was going to take on the two Saint Kings alone. How arrogant! How reckless! The two Saint Kings were furious. Neither of them was weaker than peerless Saint King, and they couldn't kill each other even if they joined forces. The silver corpse Saint King emitted an unparalleled radiance. His physique was also extremely strong. His entire body seemed to have turned into a sharp sword and split the void to fight against the devouring vortex. On the other side, desolate heaven Saint King soared into the sky and waved the desolate blade in his hand as he slashed it forward. The desolate blade continued to grow in size, as if it had turned into a long rainbow that was 10,000 zhang long. It pressed down from the sky. Boom, boom. Peerless sword chi danced and swept across the 9 heavens. It broke through everything and blocked the desolate blade. The two of them clashed in the sky, and countless Tao laws shot out in all directions. The starry sky was completely destroyed. An intense battle broke out. Above the 9 heavens, all sorts of Tao laws revolved and swallowed everything. This happened in the extraterritorial starry sky. Otherwise, even in a special world like planet Xiwan in the eastern wilderness, the mountains and rivers would have been destroyed. Boom! The boundless yellow spring water surged, as if it was a real yellow spring hell. Countless netherworld puppets walked out from inside, forming a terrifying netherworld army that charged towards peerless Saint King. Peerless Saint King snorted. Countless rays of devouring light surrounded him and swallowed the yellow spring army. At that moment, the starlight between heaven and earth disappeared. However, the yellow spring army that was swallowed appeared again. This time, a yellow spring figure appeared. This figure was not simple. It was the yellow spring Saint King who had spent thousands of years nurturing it. The cold and gloomy aura that he exuded was terrifying. With a roar, the figure soared into the sky and charged towards peerless Saint King. Peerless Saint King snorted. He flipped his hand and took out a treasure bottle. He poured out a few drops of blood-red light. He placed it on his palm and slapped it out. Boom! The slap landed on the yellow spring figure, causing it to roar crazily. The yellow spring figure was so powerful that even Saint Kings were shocked. However, under the attack of the blood-red palm, black smoke rose from its body, and the remaining figure quickly melted. It seemed to be greatly restrained. Damn it, is that the blood of the sun? Silver corpse Saint King's face turned ugly. He had spent 5,000 years to condense this yellow spring figure. It was extremely cold and gloomy, able to sweep away everything. However, its biggest nemesis was the power of the sun. However, it was extremely difficult to find such a thing. Even Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body could not do it because it was not mature enough. However, he did not expect that. Peerless Saint King had such a thing in his hand. It was able to restrain his yellow spring figure with just one attack. At the same time, the devouring vortex flew out again. On the other side, Peerless Saint King charged towards Desolate Heaven Saint King. Desolate Heaven Saint King roared as countless canyons appeared behind him. Figures appeared in the canyons one after another. The Desolate Summoning. It was extremely powerful in the hands of Desolate Heaven Saint King. The figures that he had summoned were much more powerful. than the other geniuses. Moreover, there were so many of them that it made one's scalp go numb. These figures that appeared between the heavens and earth brandished their terrifying ultimate skills as they charged forward at high speed. Humph! Peerless Saint King snorted and slashed with his unparalleled sword. A terrifying light illuminated the entire starry sky. Then the figures that were summoned were shattered into pieces. They turned into ashes. Peerless Saint King was not at a disadvantage, even though he was fighting against two of them. It was shocking. Some of the Saint Kings who were watching the battle were stunned. The law of Devour was simply too powerful. Lin Xian and the others were also shocked. They heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like the situation was still favorable for them. If this continued, Peerless Saint King would not be in any danger. However, their pupils shrank as soon as they finished speaking. A ray of light flew out from the sky and sent Peerless Saint King flying. Chapter 43:27. The sudden change stunned Lin Xian and the others. Linghu Chui Xue and the others exclaimed, "What happened? Why was their master injured?" They were really too surprised. This shouldn't be happening. Suddenly, Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. Oh no! Another Sage King has joined the battle. What? Fu Hongya and the others' faces darkened. A third Sage King has joined the fray? Damn it, who is it? Through the light screen in front of them, they saw a figure. It was a figure standing in the 9 heavens. The sword Qi on his body was unparalleled. It was the Sword King of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion, the Ghost Deity Sword King. Many people's faces darkened. Humph! The Silver Corpse Sage King sneered. Wushuang, do you still have the right to resist? With the 3 of us attacking together, you'll definitely die. Wushuang Sage King walked out of the void. There was a sword mark on his body. It was disappearing quickly. The boundless law of devouring devoured the sword scar directly. His face was pale, but his eyes were even colder. Let's do it and get rid of him, the Ghost Deity Sword King said coldly. He then waved the Ghost Deity Sword in his hand, unleashing a terrifying sword Qi towards Wushuang Sage King. The sword Qi was too cold. It was enough to destroy everything. At the same time, the Silver Corpse Sage King and the Desolate Heaven Sage King worked together to attack Wushuang Sage King. Boom! The Desolate Heaven Sage King roared, summoning the canyon and enveloping Wushuang Sage King. At the same time, a terrifying destructive Qi surged, trying to suppress Wushuang Sage King. Wushuang Sage King roared, "Devour!" His law of engulfment continued to surge and absorb rapidly. The black vortex grew bigger and bigger. In the end, the entire desolate canyon was swallowed up. At the same time, Wushuang Sage King roared and slashed the sky. He flew into the distance. Damn it! The Desolate Heaven Sage King spat out a mouthful of blood, his face turning pale. The Silver Corpse Sage King said, "Chase after him. This time, his soul will be destroyed." The 3 of them turned into streams of light and disappeared into the starry sky. Not good. They couldn't see anything. Linghu Chui Xue and the others were shocked. Xian also shook his head and sighed. Even his heavenly fate divine eyes couldn't detect anything. Even the other saint rulers who were watching in the dark sucked in a deep breath. They wondered how the battle was going. While Linghu Chui Xue was worried, the sky suddenly shattered. Countless terrifying auras of desolation descended and enveloped them. Instantly, the expressions of Linghu Chui Xue and the others changed. The reason for that was because that aura was simply too frightening. He had surpassed the Saint Venerable. This was the aura of a Saint King. A Saint King had attacked them. Damn it, who is it? Lin Xian's eyes also burst with a piercing light as he punched the void. Countless laws of desolation filled the air. A figure suddenly appeared above the 9 heavens. "It's you?" Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He discovered that the one who had come out was Saint King Desolate Heaven. The other party revealed a cold smile. "Damn it, do you dare to attack us?" Fu Hongye roared. "Don't forget the Saint King's rules. If you dare to make a move, you will be punished by all the Saint Kings." Linghu Chueshua said coldly. Saint King Desolate Heaven sneered. "A bunch of ants, do you dare to go against me? I can destroy all of you with a wave of my hand. And do you think that Wushuang City will still exist from now on? Don't be naive. Today, Saint King Wushuang will definitely die. Once he dies, your holy city will also be reduced to ashes. Do you think that someone will stand up for you for a saint city that will soon cease to exist? Is that so? Then you can try. I can guarantee that you will end up in a miserable state if you make a move now." Lin Xian walked out at this moment and said coldly, "It's you again." Saint King Desolate Heaven stared at Lin Xian. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. Suddenly, the void around Lin Xian started to shatter. Those people also felt as if they were facing a great enemy. Lin Xian waved his hand and took out the Great Destruction Spear, blocking in front of him. The terrifying demonic aura blocked the Saint King's killing intent. "Kid, you still dare to provoke me when you are about to die. But that's fine too. I will let you die willingly when we bring Saint King Wushuang's head to you. Let's see if you can continue to be so arrogant." Saint King Desolate Heaven sneered and disappeared into the sky. Did he leave? Lu Yuan Yurua and the others could not believe it. Lin Xian's face was cold. Although Saint King Wushuang was no longer around, he had Deity's Templar behind him. Moreover, Jade Lake Sacred Master and Kunlun Sacred King would definitely take action on Murong Qingqing's side. Saint King Desolate Heaven was probably afraid of this as well. That was why he did not immediately take action. However, if Saint King Wushuang really died, then the situation would be different. He was afraid that those people would turn Wushuang City into ashes and smoke. In the next few days, Lin Xian asked the people from Deity's Templar to quickly gather information. Even the other sacred grounds and sects started to take action. After all, if a Saint King really died, the impact would be too great. However, they did not get any information. Those people seemed to have come to the distant starry sky to fight. For the time being, they did not get any information. However, some people thought that Saint King Wushuang was dead for sure. No matter how strong he was and how he could fight against 2, it was impossible for him to fight against 3. Even if he could escape now, it would not be long before he was killed. Moreover, it seemed that those sacred cities were really prepared to take action. Lin Xian quickly asked Linghu Chueshue and the others to return to Deity's Templar. They were safe for the time being. However, the news that came made his face turn cold. It seemed that those people had sent the news back to the 2 astral realm. If that was the case, then it would be really troublesome. Would those sacred cities attack Wushuang City in the 2nd astral realm? "Young martial uncle, I want to leave." Linghu Chueshue found Lin Xian and said that he wanted to return to the 2nd astral realm. "What can you do there?" Lin Xian asked with a frown. Linghu Chueshue said that our foundation is in Wushuang City. There are countless elders and disciples there. I have to inform them quickly. Even if something happens to Master, I can't let Wushuang City fall. Lin Xian's face also turned cold. He said that he would go back too. He was also a member of Wushuang City. They had to do these things personally. To be honest, he could invite other Saint Kings. However, those Saint Kings could only help them for a while, but could they help them forever? As long as there was no news of Saint King Wushuang, Wushuang City would be in danger. Since that was the case, he would let Wushuang City go into hiding. Damn it, he would definitely get his revenge. Lin Xian's eyes exploded with cold killing intent. Great Desolate Mansion, Acheron Hall, and Myriad Sword Pavilion. He would not let any of them go. These people were moving quickly. Chapter 43:28. Fortunately, the deity's hall had a strong foundation. Hence, they were able to teleport through space. Lin Xian was a powerful array master. Hence, when they were teleported out of the starry sky, Lin Xian took charge. He used the power of the stars to form a space array. These space arrays had been set up in the deity's hall a long time ago. Some of them had been passed down from the deity's hall since the ancient times. Now that he had taken them out, he only needed to provide them with sufficient power. And these powers were either provided by the universe or by the power of some star worlds. In short, these people used the teleportation array to teleport back to the second astral boundary. In the second astral boundary, everyone was waiting. They wanted to know how the third stage of the Tao discussion went. However, after waiting for a long time, they received a piece of news. The unparalleled Sage King had fallen. When the news came out, all the sects and clans in the second astral boundary were stunned. What was going on? They knew that all the sage kings of the holy cities had left together with the geniuses and experts to participate in the third stage. However, before the news of the third stage spread, the news of the Sage King's death came out. The people of Unparalleled City naturally received the news as well. They were dumbfounded. How could this be? Their Sage King had fallen? Damn it, they didn't believe it. In an instant, they hurried out to investigate. However, the entire second astral boundary was talking about this matter. They couldn't help but wonder what had happened. Shirbufan, Water Sky City, Wang Xiaofeng, and the others were going crazy. The elders' faces were gloomy. Among them, the great elder said, "Everyone, come back. Don't act rashly. The current situation is very disadvantageous for us." Hence, they didn't go out. They immediately activated the array, and Unparalleled City entered a defensive state. On the other side, the Acheron Hall, Great Desolate Mansion, Myriad Sword Pavilion, and the other holy cities received the news and quickly prepared. They gathered their strength and prepared to launch a shocking attack. On this day, the laws in the void fluctuated, and a huge space array appeared. 10 figures appeared on it. They were Lin Xian and the others. After Lin Xian and the others returned, they immediately flew towards Unparalleled City. Wushuang City was already glowing brightly, defending against everything. As they flew, they heard all sorts of news. As expected, those sacred cities were going to make a move against Peerless City. However, it would appear that they had arrived quite early. If he had been any later, the war would have already begun. Linghu Chueshua said, "It's us. Open the door quickly." The people in Peerless Sacred City were also stunned. It was Linghu Chueshua and the others. Have they returned? Quickly open the formation. The elders gave the order one after another. Immediately, a crack appeared in the countless spirit formations. Linghu Chueshua and the others directly flew into the crack. "It's really you." After they entered, the formation closed up again. Then the elders and disciples walked up. What happened to senior brother Linghu? Was it true that a Saint King had fallen? Impossible, I don't believe it. The disciples asked nervously. Even the elders were frowning. What was going on with Chueshua? Linghu Chueshua's face was gloomy and cold. He said that our group was going to participate in the third stage. The third stage was on the legendary planet Primordial. After we landed, we passed the third stage. However, after the third stage, Acheron Hall's Silver Corpse Saint King, Great Desolate Mansion's Desolate Heaven Saint King, and Myriad Swords Pavilion's Ghost Deity Saint King attacked his master. Now, his master had entered the universe, and his whereabouts were unknown. What When the people in Peerless Sacred City heard this, they were really shocked. How could it be like this? They really couldn't believe it. Their Saint King was being chased by 3 Saint Kings. They were afraid that he would be in danger. No wonder there were rumors that unparalleled Saint King had fallen. Impossible. A Saint King was unparalleled. It was impossible for him to fall. An elder said. Another elder also said that the Saint King's body hadn't been seen yet. It meant that the Saint King might have escaped. There was a glimmer of hope in the eyes of these people. However, Linghu Chueshue did say that it was true. We naturally hope so too. However, I think that Acheron Hall, Great Desolate Mansion, and Myriad Swords Pavilion should be preparing to attack now. They want Peerless City to be completely destroyed. Damn it, the elders and disciples were all stunned. Let's go all out. Yes, let's kill them. These people's eyes were red. Did they really think that Peerless Sacred City was easy to bully? However, Linghu Chueshue said, "No, we have discussed this matter. Young martial uncle, you say it." Linghu Chueshue and the others looked at Lin Xian. The others were stunned. Young martial uncle? What was going on? Wasn't Lin Xian the chief disciple of the 3rd generation? Linghu Chueshue said that Lin Xian was the junior brother of the Saint King and their martial uncle. When these words came out, everyone was shocked. The elders were also stunned. Was it true? Lin Xian walked out and nodded. That's right. Unparalleled Saint King is indeed my senior brother. Me too. Not long after that. If that's the case, then I'm afraid that Lin Gongzi will have to take charge of the situation. The other elders also turned to look at him. The other disciples also came over. Although Lin Xian was young, his reputation had already spread throughout the 2 astral realms. So they all asked about it. Young martial uncle Lin, what should we do? Lin Xian said as he surveyed the surroundings with his gaze. Senior brother is now being hunted by someone. The situation is not good, and Peerless Sacred City will soon be attacked by the 3 sacred cities. Moreover, I think that Demon City and Thunder City will add insult to injury. So we are in great danger. I have 2 ideas now. First, we definitely can't fight them head on. So I've decided to seal Peerless Sacred City and completely hide it until the Saint King returns. When these words came out, everyone exclaimed. Lin Xian continued. Of course, the time this time is not certain. It may be 500 years or 1,000 years or even a few thousand years. So I plan to let a group of people come out and scatter all over the 2nd astral realm. First, they will be responsible for gathering information. Second, they can hide their identities and cultivate. This way, if the Saint King really returns, he can immediately communicate with Peerless Sacred City. I agree with young martial uncle. Linghu Chueshue walked up. Fu Hongye also said, and I agree with her. Shengwan Xiaoxian and the others also nodded. They had discussed this matter before, and this was the best way for now. Unwilling, the disciples gritted their teeth. The elders also clenched their fists. They said, "Damn it, but I agree with martial Uncle Lin. We also think that this is the best way for now. Peerless Sacred City is the Saint King's life's work. We can't destroy it. We must preserve our strength and foundation and wait for the Saint King's return." You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.